What's up, weaves? Welcome back to Melina. As always, I'm your host, Notorious, and joining me, as always, is Shaun.
Hey.
This is a hilariously delayed recording on our end. First, it was delayed because I got sick, and then it was delayed because, not by much, but like because my family from Ireland suddenly appeared, and here we are about half an hour late from when we initially were going to record.
Which is very nice.
Which is nice,
yeah.
but you know, when they show up when you have plans and you're very aware of your time, you're like, this is lovely, but
It's
fuck
like,
off.
oh great, oh no.
Yeah. So today, it's just catching up. You know, we talk about whatever the fuck we want. It would have been
check-in because I wasn't even here last time. I think.
No, I was completely solo for the last recording. The last episode that came out would have been Stardust Memory. But yes, last recording, I sat here and sort of just talked at the things in front of me.
talking to your Gundam like figures.
Yeah, just talking to Char Zaku on my desk.
What do you think of this armor? I imagine that's how the episode went because I'm sorry, I still haven't listened to it.
Yeah, you guys still haven't fucking listened to it.
I gave it a like. I listened to like the first 5 minutes.
Wow.
I was on holiday.
Yeah,
at the
you
time,
were.
And I had things to
you
do.
were back. You were back. It came out after you were back, so that's not your. That's you know.
Did it come out the week I came back? Because I was just checked out for a few days.
It came out. It would have been the 24th, I think it came out.
That was the Friday I came back. I was dead for that day, basically. So you know.
Anyway, enough of your excuses.
It's fair. I came back at 5 in the morning, motherfucker.
Yeah, this would have been a bit more of a structured episode had I not got sick and had I been able to go see Spider-Man Brand New Day. We probably would have been talking more rigidly about Spider-Man. But no, I was feeling kind of icky at work for most of last week, and it developed into just I don't want to do anything because I feel horrendous, and then delayed this, and now we're here. I'm still not 100%. My voice is probably a little off.
If it's anything, I can't hear that much. Like, it doesn't sound that bad to me.
Yeah. I'm certainly very kind of not entirely stuffed up, but enough to be annoying. So yeah. Last time we were talking about stuff, we were catching up with you going over. You were in your Deltarune obsession.
I was, and still kind of am.
And still kind of are. You just still haven't let up on that.
No. I mean, I'm on the last chapter that's come out again now.
And somehow, in that intervening time, I've fallen back into Skyrim. And I'm still not entirely sure how that happened.
I can blame someone. It's a certain content creator. I don't know, but like,
yeah, that's probably a good shout. I was between games, and like I had re-downloaded, you know, Insomniac Spider-Man because I thought maybe I'll replay that because, you know, new Spider-Man movie out. I re-downloaded Oblivion because I was like, oh yeah, I haven't finished Shivering Isles. And I've just always perpetually got Skyrim installed on the PC, and so I was like putting mods in it one night while watching a content creator that we both watch. It's Cake Jumper. I was watching Cake Jumper. I don't know why we're dancing around.
We're putting like a secret name on it because we don't want to dox that it's fucking Cake Jumper.
Yeah, it's Cake Jumper, Irish streamer, content creator who's very funny, good crack, as the Irish say. Go watch her. that is a word I use in my own vocabulary kind of often. So
oh yeah, I mean, I would if anyone around me talked like that.
Yeah.
I feel like if I said that to anyone I know, they'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, they probably know what it is, but they're like, you're not Irish. What are you talking about?
And so I was just watching her play the annual Cheese Quest, which she has done for 6 years in a row, which is genuinely insane.
Can you explain that to me? Because I've watched none of those yet.
So, okay, so the idea of Cheese Quest is there is a mod called Cheese Mod for Everyone, and it essentially extends Sheer-Gorath's Daedric quest. So you go to the Blue Palace in Solitude, and you do the Sheer-Gorath quest as you normally do by going into the Pelagius.
You meet yourself from the previous game, who is now Sheer-Gorath. I know this.
Yeah. So you go into the Pelagius wing, you get sort of kidnapped by Sheer-Gorath for a bit, you do his whole quest, get the Wabbajack, and then when you're dumped back out, there's a bit of cheese sitting in a corner, and you can eat that, and it will summon Sheer-Gorath, and he'll get pissed off at you because that was his cheese. It was a very special cheese, apparently, and he will task you with finding 202 unique cheeses across the entirety of Skyrim.
It is, as far as I'm aware, it's a reference to Oblivion with the whole cheese thing, because in Oblivion, he fucking loves cheese.
Yeah.
I don't know the context of it, but he just fucking loves cheese.
So this is like it's just called, I think, like crusty old cheese or something like that. It's very sort of nondescript.
Lovely.
But it doesn't have the like take option, it just has the eat option. So you just sort of nom it there. And then you'll be set with finding 202 unique cheeses that the creator of the mod has added into the game. And every single year Cake Jumper does this. Why? I don't know.
Is it randomized every year, or is it just the same?
No, they're generally in the same places. There's a couple of times I've went to the same locations during quests, because when Cake plays it, she pretty much just focuses on the cheese quest aspect of it, whereas I'm playing the game and I have it installed, but I'm also doing the main game,
other things.
And so I've ended up in like Solitude, obviously, to do whatever, and Riften and whatever. So I'm in the middle of the Thieves Guild quests at the moment, and in the Ragged Flagon is one of the cheeses, and like that cheese is just always there. The Jarl's Hall cheeses are always kind of in Dragon's Reach and Whiterun, and so the spawn locations don't change, but Cake does this every single year, and I'm not sure why. I've almost finished last year's 2025's. It's usually done around Christmas, so I'm curious to tune in again like this year.
In a few months.
Yeah. And but yeah, that'll be year 7. So yeah, I found myself, I was just installing mods and was like, I better check these work, because special edition especially, it's a bit more annoying to actually install mods to it. And I did the random alternate start and was like, I better make sure that like the mesh mods that I have that sort of clean up some of the meshes and make things look a bit better and draw distance stuff, like, don't cause any issues. And then I just found myself playing the game for like 3 hours and then was like, well, guess I'm playing Skyrim again.
Yeah. And to be fair, the only things I really know you've done so far is like you spawned in, was it Dawnstar?
Dawnstar, right at the top of the fucking map, as far away from anything that you can get. You
just dropped in completely fucking naked at Dawnstar. Yeah. The only thing I influenced you to do was join the Legion, because I have patriotic loyalty to the Imperial Legion.
I mean, it kind of ended up being great that I started in Dawnstar, because it's not that far away from Solitude, so all it took was me to join the Legion over there, and I could immediately start Cheese Quest, which is great. Got a head start on that. Haven't made a lot of progress. I've only got like 40 cheeses out of the 200, and I'm 20 hours in.
40.
So yeah, it dumped me in Dawnstar, and I originally thought, I have nothing. I just have the clothes on my back. I gotta work and find everything else. So I broke into the guards' barracks in Dawnstar.
Really working for your stuff there.
And stole a sword, went to equip it, and found out I had a mace that whole time, and was like, why didn't I think to check my fucking inventory?
So did you just spawn into the world with a mace?
So the whole like alternate start thing where it can sort of dump you into random like towns is, for Dawnstar especially, it's like you've come in on a boat from somewhere else and you're now starting a new life in Skyrim. And so like
there's flavor lore in there.
yeah, because you're sort of stuck with a, so there's a little prelude thing where you kind of approach like a statue, and it either allows you to select from a long list or you can randomize it. And I randomized it and ended up in Dawnstar, because you can start in like the Thieves Guild, or you could start in the Dark Brotherhood. You could start as like I think working for Ulfric or something like that, or whatever. And you can obviously also start the game normally if you wanted to,
if you're boring,
and that then puts you into wherever, and you're given the quest of like the task is beginning your new life, and the whole idea is that you then stumble into the main quest, because from there it's then like all the stuff with Helgen's already happened, and when you approach, Alduin flies away, it's wrecked, and you find like a journal that then triggers the main quest, and sort of everything from there falls on essentially as they originally designed it. But yeah, I started in Dawnstar, probably the furthest away you could get from Helgen.
Literal opposite end of the fucking map. Yeah.
So I was like, cool, I'll head to Solitude. Got jumped by a red guard on the way, which is fine. I got to take his equipment. Joined the Imperial Legion.
Hard life in Skyrim, isn't it?
Joined the Imperial Legion, started the cheese quest, fucked around for a while, eventually started the main quest, and now I've ignored that and the Civil War quest to do the Thieves Guild for some reason. I don't know why. I've just found myself doing
the first thing you did was break into a barracks or whatever. I feel like it called to you.
I've also joined the Dark Brotherhood, and I've ignored that as well. I found myself in where is it? It's not Winterhold. No, it's Windhelm. Found myself in there for some reason. And yeah, I accidentally stumbled into that because I was like, yeah, I can't remember how you start Dark Brotherhood in this one, because in Oblivion you've got to just like kill a random innocent person and it'll sort of trigger it from there, whereas in Skyrim it's like everything, it's a bit more scripted, and there's an actual initiation quest, and I just happened to randomly stumble into that, and I was like, cool, I'll do that, and then ignored it and haven't actually officially joined yet, which sucks, because in Skyrim, compared to just about every other guild quest in Oblivion, the Dark Brotherhood's one of my favorite ones in the game, which was sort of the thing that disappointed me about Oblivion when I played it back in January, was that the guild quests feel a lot less substantive in that one in comparison, whereas like there's usually like actual kind of like story and sequences, whereas a lot of the ones in Oblivion it's like sort of fetch quests for a long chunk of it.
For me, from what I remember of Oblivion, which to be fair, I haven't played many of the guild quests in Oblivion. What I do remember from just playing, I think it was the arena kind of counts.
Yeah, I guess the arena is part of the guilds, yeah.
Yeah, and the Fighters Guild, I think.
Oh yeah.
Which was basically just go on. You're basically just going through different tiers of doing similar things until you hit the champion spot, which I could do for the arena. I could not stomach all of the Fighters Guild after a while because it was just the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
And occasionally you go to a different city and do the same shit again.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot more substantial ones in Oblivion that I haven't played yet, but because I hear the Mages Guild is maybe fine.
The Mages Guild is actually the most fetch questy out of all of them. It's the one with the most sort of like interesting sequences though. Like there is some stuff that happens towards sort of like the middle end part of it where there is some interaction outside of the Mage's Tower or whatever it is. Whereas a lot of them are go get this thing, come back, and then you'll move up a rank or whatever. Yeah, I know, or I'm sort of familiar with all of them because I did do all of them, because that's sort of how you get the platinum for some reason in the remaster, is that you play the main quest, you do all the guild quests, and then that's it, you get the platinum trophy, and I'm not sure why they designed it like that.
You not even need to do like the DLC quests.
No, well, Shivering Isles is like a separate trophy list. It's sort of like a classic.
Okay.
I was worried that they would put in like Shivering Isle stuff as part of just a whole big trophy list, but no, they've kept it as like as if it were just still DLC to the games listed separately, like the City Never Sleeps stuff for Spider-Man. But yeah, so yeah, Skyrim, that's been fun. I'm like 20 hours into this playthrough, and I've kind of not done a lot, and I'm still only like level 18 or 19.
Okay, yeah.
I've just done a lot of fucking around.
I mean, that's just the Skyrim experience, isn't it? Because like last time I played through Skyrim, it was admittedly a while ago, and like for me, when I'm playing Skyrim, I end up basically just doing the same stuff over and over again. So I kind of just get bored, because I usually have like a set character in place when I start the game, because I'm very much sort of into immersion and just basically, you know, what if I try with this character? But the unfortunate thing for me is my characters end up just being kind of samey because I'm not that creative. I'm not that creative. And I have played Skyrim for almost a decade now, so I have gotten a lot of the stuff out of it at this point, and I can still basically remember it all, so it's not quite as fun these days.
That's sort of why it's taken me quite a while to kind of come back to it, because I've you know, I played it way back when it sort of around when it first came out. I remember getting it around Christmas 2012, I think. So just about a year after the game came out. And that 360 version, that one save file has well over like 300 hours or something, because that was one that got played for a long time before they put out, you know, any of the re-releases. I have like insane hours on that, because I didn't know you could check, or I didn't know that's what the numbers on the save file meant originally, because it's kind of not clear that that's like a time code.
No.
Until someone pointed it out, and I went, that means I've played like 270 hours or whatever. When they pointed that out to me, I was like, that's insane. And it, like, at the time, it truly was. I would just go in and like explore, walk around, go in places, loot, and by that point I was fully leveled. I had done everything. I had played both DLCs. There was truly nothing more to get out of that version realistically, but I still just kept playing it. And then eventually, you know, they re-released it for at the time the current gen, now previous gen, with the special edition. I replayed it on PS4. I've never finished I think it was the Dragonborn DLC I never finished. I played Dawnguard and the base game, and I still probably have like 60 or 70 hours in that. I played the original version on the PC, but I really only played the base game for that. I had like 24 hours on that version, and that was just literally like get in, do main story, get out, didn't do anything else. And you know, I think I finished Dawnguard during lockdown for the PS4. So it was like, you know, then they announced the anniversary edition for, you know, next gen consoles, and I was like, man, I'm tapped out. I don't, just because it's got faster load times, I don't think there's much more for me to jump in and do here.
Yeah, like nigh on a decade at that point, like it's kind of fair.
Yeah, with like, you know, 400 plus hours accumulatively across different versions. So yeah, then I just, you know, installing the mods, I was like, I guess this is going to be a fun way of getting something new out of it. Is like, and also, you know, lockdown was 6 years ago, so it's like that's also still a long time.
Which doesn't feel like that, but it is.
I was like, so okay, so that's, you know, I think a long enough time for me to kind of remember some of the, or to forget, you know, the details of certain things and not feel like I'm just playing the same thing over and over again. and it's, you know,
Yeah.
15 plus years since the game originally released. As like, so I think enough times pass where I'm not just gonna feel like I'm going insane and doing the same thing again. Because Skyrim really just had a grip on.
Yeah, I mean, it had a grip on everyone for
Yeah.
like a good chunk. I can say that as well. I came in sort of late to the party, relatively. At like, I only jumped in when the first special edition came out. It was for the 5th anniversary, like 2016ish, and that came in at a great time for me because I obviously knew about Skyrim beforehand, and I remember being tempted beforehand to get it for 360 on the Legendary edition that had come out by then. But that was only the first re-release that had come out at that point. Not the 12th or whatever we're on now. But I didn't really want to get into Skyrim until Special Edition dropped, because that was around 2016. That was when I was really getting into Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
If there was anything that was going to really get me into that kind of fantasy, it was going to be Game of Thrones. And that just basically leapfrogged me to Skyrim, and I played so fucking much until I had gotten all of the content worth out of it. I shook that game like it had lunch money.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how many hours I must have gotten on that base PS4 version. Possibly, maybe not 300 hours, but
yeah, that it still baffles me how I managed to do that on the original 360 version.
Yeah, but it was definitely like a good couple hundred at least. The character is probably still on. It's probably still able to get on my PS5 version, because I remember I transferred the save when Anniversary came out. Sorry, hiccup.
You're good.
But I have like that one character who was just named after myself.
Yeah.
Because it was just a full-on self-insert, and I did so much fucking stuff with that character that like no other character has ever really gotten that much use. Sadly, even though I kept starting the game after a couple of years after that. The only notable one I could think of that I played for a good chunk of time after that was a specifically evil character I made, where I was just like, I'm going to do the opposite of all the good decisions I made on that first run, and that was fun. But he basically just became a vampire lord, and that was basically him, just stuck like that. Which is a fun way to play, but it's a very specific way to play after a while. And for me, unless I wanted to break the immersion, I just kind of kept him in that role because nothing else would really interest him. Why be part of the Dark Brotherhood when you can just be Lord of whatever the vampire castle's called?
Oh, I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've done Dawnguard now.
Yeah. I basically made him Skyrim Palpatine is what I remember it being like. Because I had him like influencing the Civil War as like a background character as well. I think I made him join the Stormcloaks, but with like the specific aim to weaken the Empire. Because he was like a secret Thalmor as well, or something, was my backstory.
I don't think that hard about it, to be honest. I just play them as, especially this time where like I've just landed in Skyrim, someone who's kind of new to this like, you know, area at the very least. Obviously they're not new to Tamriel in general, but
they've not been to Skyrim before. They don't know the locals.
Yeah.
It's just like really angry Nord.
I think I originally played. I remember I named my original character something, but I don't remember what it was. I remember spending a while trying to come up with a name, and I think it was. I think I played a female character at that time. I can't remember. I should really boot that save up and see what's going on in there.
Go down memory lane.
Yeah. I have to admit, I'd played it that long that sometimes you would go somewhere, like enter a location, and it would just get stuck loading.
Oh, damn, yeah.
So that was fun. I remember that happening fairly often. You would just sort of sit there and you'd be like, damn, it's taking a while to load. And then like 5 minutes would go by and you're like, maybe something's not right here.
Yeah.
Because you could still use, like, you could still rotate whatever was on the loading screen. You could still manipulate it and stuff, but it would just not ever finish loading in wherever you had gone to.
The game wasn't frozen, but it basically just hung.
Yeah. But yeah, aside from that, we've both been watching.
Yeah. To get into what's supposed to be the main topic of this episode, I guess.
I apologize for sort of initiating the whole Skyrim thing.
No, that was interesting. Yeah.
I have more than the cheese quest mod. I will throw that out there. It sounds like I'm not. That I'm just doing that. I have many more mods in there. Some are just dumb.
You had to turn one off today.
I did. I decided to turn off open cities because it's as interesting a mod as it is, because really the game at this point can run just as a contiguous open world. It's not built around it, so even though the mod creators have done a fantastic job in creating that mod and making it as seamless as possible, when it comes to questing and stuff, it does run into a few issues, and it ran into such a big issue today where no matter what I did, even using the in-game mod options to, like, there's essentially like a location you can interact with that will reload the area as the separated instance, it was still causing it to bug out and not spawn in like the quest trigger that I needed to continue doing what I was doing.
Yeah, because my question for, like, when I saw mods like that, and I told you, like, earlier today that, like, I never really went for those kind of mods because I knew eventually I'd run into, like, problems and stuff. And I think one of the things I'm just remembering now that would stop me is, like, how would the Civil War quest sort of work in that front? Because that definitely uses different versions of the cities.
You know, I don't know, because I never actually pursued the Civil War quests far enough with that mod on to find out, and it never even crossed my mind because I forgot there were, like, battles involving, like, the obviously Wind Helm and stuff like that. But no, when
there's only like 3 big ones, so I don't blame you for forgetting. But
it was I was doing a quest in Rift for the Thieves Guild, and you have to break into, like, the Thieves Guild, like, Guildmaster's house, and there's a house attached to, like, the temple that the guild is under, and when you do the quest, it's meant to trigger the spawning of, like, a ramp and a thing to knock it over. But with this mod installed, no matter what I did, whether I fast traveled in, had it open as part of the contiguous map, or if I used the trigger to open it as a separate instance, having this mod on meant that the trigger for that never spawned those items into location, and effectively you couldn't continue the quest because that's the only way into that house as part of that quest. The main door's completely blocked, and even when you're inside, you can't raise the thing blocking it. It's just like, nah, you can't do that, mate. So I was like, yeah, it's been fun. It is kind of fun traveling the world and going to the places and being able to just walk in. However, I fast travel most of the time, so
yeah,
I'm not really getting the benefit of this, other than the feeling of, like, it's the lighting system slightly better, I think, with the mod on, because it uses the outdoor lighting system. So it's yeah. Anyway, Spooderman. We've both watched some Spider-Man movies.
Yes, we have. That's a way to say it. You've actually watched more than me.
I have watched more than you, because I watched both the Amazing movies before I watched the Home trilogy.
Which I was also planning to do initially, but I usually go and see Marvel movies with my mum, and absolutely no fault to her. I'm glad we went when we did and stuff. But, like, she kind of just dropped on me that, like, oh, by the way, I'm just booking the new movie, like, right now. I'm thinking, like, basically in like 2 days, and I was like, oh, cool. Meanwhile, going, okay, I have to cut out the Andrew Garfield movies for now then. Which kind of fucks with the order, because I did the Raimi movies a few months ago, and I'm kind of just jumping ahead to Tom Holland now. Oops. But I'll get to him. I maybe should have watched his movies before recording, but I forgot to think of that before today. Oops
Yeah.
again.
I was originally planning to go see the movie this past Monday. Obviously, didn't happen.
Mm,
So I started last week watching the Amazing Spider-Man, and then I've tracked through to No Way Home over the weekend. Sort of an extended run than I expected, because I expected to do it all very by Sunday, very tight
yeah.
schedule,
Back to back to back to back, basically.
back to back, yeah. And for the Amazing Spider-Man 1, I've actually watched that more than I think I realized. I've definitely seen it a small handful of times. And I think, it sucks that it has to be an origin film.
Yeah,
So
I think
close.
that's its biggest detriment.
Yeah. So close to Raimi's origin film. Because
that film and the first Raimi film, that was only 10 years apart, I think.
Yeah, because Amazing was 2012 and 2002 was the first Spider-Man. Yeah, so only a decade. And we kind of briefly talked about this with Melina when we were talking about these movies in private. That 10-year gap was a very different 10-year gap to say, Amazing Spider-Man 1 to just after No Way Home, which came out in 2021.
Yeah.
That was a very different set of 10-year gaps, because even when Amazing Spider-Man 1 came out in 2012, that was sort of just on the cusp of social media really becoming super accessible and being in everyone's...
Super all-encompassing, I'd say, yeah.
And the reason I say super accessible is because smartphones were just about to become very, very affordable to everybody and become
and basically integral to the modern world. Like, they were certainly a thing, and most people like who are just maybe who weren't just like the poorest had gotten it basically and access to it, but it wasn't quite as necessary to exist in the world as they are currently right now.
I mean, yeah, because the iPhone 2012 was the iPhone 4, so it was super early within that era of tech development. So that meant that period of time, the theatrical run of the original Spider-Man would have been quite lengthy, and then you would have had VHS, DVD, and obviously 2012, which means it would have been re-released on Blu-ray as well, along with the rest of the trilogy, but that's not really the point here. It means that the prevalence and cultural impact of it was much, much higher, because it was also the only Spider-Man big movie at the time. It became the culture of Spider-Man. It wasn't just a Spider-Man thing, it was the Spider-Man thing.
Not just that, 2012, that was also just before the first Avengers movie had come out as well. So the MCU was still in its infancy and was not quite the juggernaut it would become in the next few years after the Amazing Spider-Man. Because I'd say that the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, along with the X-Men franchise, but even then that kind of started to limp after its third one, was basically the flagship Marvel franchise overall, included just in all media, I'd say, honestly. So it was still very fresh in people's mind because the last Raimi film was 2007.
So only 5 years. It wasn't a super long period of time. So then go, okay, we're rebooting the entire thing. And I think when you take into account that Sony and Marvel were probably behind the scenes trying very hard to incorporate Spider-Man into the MCU, you kind of get it. You kind of understand that maybe the intent was that Garfield was going to be the MCU Spider-Man.
Definitely, because we've learned since then that there were talks at the very least of having the Amazing Spider-Man Oscorp building in like the Avengers like New York skyline, but it didn't happen because by the time they had fully designed it, like the render for Avengers had already been finished, so they couldn't fit it in time or something like that. Don't quote me on it. I am not the expert here, but it was definitely a plan, and it was seemingly going to be the plan even post Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's just Sony fuckery just kind of happened in between, and Marvel were like, you know what, fuck it, we're just starting we're doing our own Spider-Man who does his own thing.
Yeah. But you know, it's really hampered by being an origin, because I don't think it lets anything about that cast and that, you know, version of the world shine that much. You're sort of like, I feel like there was a certain level of we know who Peter Parker is and we know the general setup of Spider-Man by that point in time. So they could have just kind of dropped in and been like, okay, this is a different Spider-Man, but you know, you get the gist, here's his things.
Have him start off like in the same time period of like his career as Amazing Spider-Man 2 and just jump from there, because I remember the overarching thing with that first Amazing Spider-Man movie is that so much of at least the first half is just going plot point to plot point, the same things that the Raimi films did. Peter Parker in high school, he gets bullied by Flash, he goes to Oscorp and gets bit by the spider.
Yep.
His girlfriend is there, and they're starting that relationship.
But it's Gwen Stacy this time.
But it's Gwen instead of MJ. Haha, she's blonde instead of a redhead. It's different. And here's Andrew Garfield's post-regeneration freakout. Which, Frank, at least Toby didn't do that. He didn't go kind of crackhead with it. He just got some cool abs and was like, oh, that's cool. Whereas Andrew Garfield is having like a mental breakdown of sensing a fly somewhere.
It sucks because it is a really great cast. And the music is phenomenal across those two movies. But there's nothing like super special about it, even though it's like, you know, I love seeing Kurt Connors on screen and getting to have like the Lizard and him be the main villain, but that doesn't really rescue that the setup isn't enough to really support that sort of back half of the film.
Yeah, because from what I remember, because I know sort of I remember hearing about the original plans. A lot of both movies got like restructured and like reshot for like because of Sony like wanting to add in another studio mandate for this thing, and this thing's got to set up this thing. It's worse in 2 than in the first one. But like if you go back to the trailers of both movies, there are very clearly scenes that just straight up got cut. And it's not like the MCU thing of like, oh, they put in a red herring in the trailer. No, these were definitely important scenes that got just deleted in the final edit. Because I forget if it's the first one that has like, is it Kurt Connor's assistant or whatever as a character? He's another Oscorp employee who's kind of helping him with it.
Yeah, the guy who then like says he's like shut down, and because he's the guy that sort of triggers the initial Lizard attack on the bridge, because he's like, oh, you know, all the research divisions have shut down and all this sort of stuff, and then, you know, that causes Connors' freak out, and then he becomes Lizard and goes and attacks him.
Yeah, from what I remember in the trailer, sort of specified this, sort of implied this as well. He had more scenes in the movie and was more of like an actual integral part of the plot, whereas in the final edit, I think he just kind of gets forgotten. After a while.
He shows up, I think, like twice. I think he initially shows up as part of Peter discovering the spider lab and getting bitten, but then I really don't think he shows up again until that scene triggering Connors' transformation.
If I remember correctly, I think there's a deleted scene where like he is the original way Peter was supposed to find out that the lizard is Kurt Connors. And he was supposed to give the sort of explanation instead of in the final edit where he just stumbles across his secret lab in the sewers, TMNT style, with an open laptop that explains everything. Still dumb.
It's kind of crazy they do that in both movies.
It's worse in the second one, surprisingly, as well.
Yeah, because the part in the second, the part in the second movie has nothing to do with anything whatsoever.
No, because the one in the second one is also tied into Sony's attempt at a unique overarching plot with these movies of Peter's parents, which is always so interesting whenever it's brought up, whether in these movies or in the comics, because everyone gives a fuck about Peter Parker's parents.
I think one inevitable problem that kind of rears its head whenever you bring in Peter Parker's parents, I don't like the p on that. It's just too...
Yeah, I'm glad we both did the Peter's Parker thing, because now I don't feel as dumb for doing it the first time. I was like, did I just say Peter's Parker?
The problem with having his parents be like a thing that you're ever gonna like incorporate into the story is that I think at some point you inevitably have to go counter to Peter's characterization by having him kind of be a bratty little bitch for like no reason, because it'll never incorporate well into the kind of person Peter is, because that isn't who he is. Like, he isn't someone who really is super like what's the word? I don't really know how to describe it, but like he never feels animosity towards like Uncle Ben and Aunt May for not being his parents. Like, he never sees them as anything other than parental figures.
Yeah, like in so many adaptations, the fact that he's being taken by his aunt and uncle is something that's just nobody really cares about because it's really not important. And the thing that I think is fundamentally just kind of sucks whenever like media, and I'm specifically bringing up the comics as well, because I still can't believe the comics did this thing where they made the Parkers super secret agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Which is just like, why? That's so random to me.
Because everything in this universe has to do with something. It has to be important.
But like, quote me if I don't know if I'm wrong, but like, if I remember correctly, it's like they're also personal best friends with Nick Fury from his like youth or whatever.
For fuck's sake.
And I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? Because the problem for me is that Peter's strength relies on the fact that he's just normal.
Yeah.
He's just a dude.
Like,
he's like your most average. I mean, he's a decent guy. He's got a strong sense of morality. It kind of switches between the adaptation on whether that happened pre or post Spider-Man, but you know, he's a good dude. Like, underneath it all is kind of the thing, and that's what makes him special, even when externally he's really not.
Because that's the thing that every good Spider-Man iteration will have Peter do at some point, is show to someone else that they have the qualities and capacities that would allow them to be Spider-Man if they were in his position, to put the suit on and to be a superhero and do these things. You know, I think, you know, it's sort of the thing of the double-edged sword of Amazing Spider-Man 2 is that it hits a lot more of really great Spider-Man beats. Even in its ending, it's 4 fucking endings. The very last one, where he finally comes back to being Spider-Man, hits on that. There's a kid who goes out in the street in the Spider-Man get-up and is willing to just get fucking pulped by Rhino.
Hey, look, that kid's like 6. I get it. I've been that kid before, thinking, oh, if I just believe in myself, I can do it. No, you can't. Just get away from the giant robot, please.
And, you know, he eventually shows up and he's like, yeah, you could be Spider-Man. He that's the whole friendly neighborhood part of it. Is he instills the thing into people that they can be heroes, even if they aren't superheroes. And
it's the thing that Spider-Verse taps into masterfully. It has a whole scene dedicated to that whole sentiment after like the initial Peter dies. The Insomniac games do it really well in a similar way. The best Spider-Man adaptations really tap into that. And it feels like for some reason, in order to make Amazing Spider-Man more unique, they were like, no, Peter was always destined to become Spider-Man, and nobody else could do it because the spider was literally fused with his family's blood, and that's why he reacted so specifically in that way. Fuck you, Sony.
Because it's like you can wave off Amazing Spider-Man 1's, Kirk Connors and Richard Parker were best friends. It's like that.
Sure.
Unnecessary, but whatever. You want to go that direction, cool beans. It ultimately does not matter in the movie.
If they'd done it as a way to tie him to Kirk Connors as like a personal thing, sure. Because the Raimi films did that, where every villain kind of had a personal connection to Peter in a way. Except Sandman did, and it was dumb. But
yeah, that's a weird retcon, but okay.
I forgot about the retcon for like a second. It was like, except Sandman, no.
We went through the exact same thing where you went, except Sandman, and I went, yeah, except, no.
No, wait, hold on. Yeah, they purposely added that in so he would have a personal connection. Never mind. But if they want to do that, sure. It's just... it's the bloodline thing that fucks with me. Don't make Peter Parker a super special, destined birthright to have the Spider-Man powers that they were really kind of trying to do, because it just kind of flies in the face of the whole theme of Spider-Man.
It also kind of flies in the face of, like, what Amazing Spider-Man 2 was doing in general anyway, with like Max's story.
It's why that movie is such a mess on so many levels.
And the problem is that, like, until the second half of the movie, and it's not even entirely the second half, it's just certain parts of it, it is a surprisingly solid movie. I'm
so close.
It's been 12 years, sorry, since it came out in theaters, and that was when the only time I'd ever watched it, because I think on every single rewatch, I've never actually rewatched it. So I think this is the first time I had watched it since it came out in theaters, and all I remember from theaters was walking out and being like, what the fuck was that? Because it was just not what I think anybody walked in expecting.
Yeah, I will say I was 13 at the time when that came out, so I was able to come out of it and go, oh, I actually really liked that movie, and then on every subsequent rewatch it's just kind of gotten worse.
Yeah, I think I was 17 when it came out, so I was...
So you had critical thinking skills.
I had critical thinking skills, yeah. So, I always had this memory of, like, it's just purely bad. I kind of had an idea of what my score was probably going to be going into it, and I thought it was probably going to be like a 3 or like a 1.5 stars deal. And I spent the first half going, did I remember this movie wrong?
I've seen this happen multiple times.
Because I'm watching it and it's like, they changed the suit, it looks great. The characterizations, great. They're doing really great stuff with Peter, May, Gwen, their whole deal. It's setting up an interesting arc with Max. I don't care about Harry showing up, but, that's one thing in all of the rest of these. I can kind of ignore this here. And then, after the Spidey and Electro fight in Times Square, the movie just sort of starts to unravel a little bit.
I've seen this happen multiple times where like it's happened to me, it's happened to like other people I know who've rewatched this movie, and now it's happened to you where like you get through that first half and you're questioning yourself thinking, do I remember this movie right? Is it just aged really well somehow? Because the suit's changed, it's way better than the first one, because the first one's suit just there are people that like it. It
Awful.
sucks to me.
It's one of the worst.
It's the eyes.
Yeah.
I hate the bug eyes.
Whole kind of thing. I'm not a fan of like it's super like I kind of described it as like Twilight vampire skin. I think it's very glittery, sort of shimmery. I'm not a fan of the texture, the black on the blue and red. It gives it a weird look, and then you add in the eyes, and it just fucks the whole thing up as well.
For me, I kind of like the sort of, because I always, thinking back to like 2012, I always think of it like a sort of sportswear Spider-Man suit design with like it's kind of going with that weird sort of aesthetic. But like the thing that kills it for me, just like beyond just like the eyes that I fucking hate, it's that they got rid of the weird sort of belt pattern on like the hip, so it looks like he's just got this round oval down his like chest, and it looks wrong to me the way it like looks. If you see like a full body shot of it, it's like where's the thing at his hips that actually connects the suit pattern up together? It looks wrong like this. But like the second suit is way better, but like the chase sequence in like the first 10 minutes is really good. You've got this version of Peter acting like how I imagine comic book Spider sounds and acts. It's really nice. The Gwen stuff is pretty strong. It helps that the actors were actually dating at the time.
Oh yeah, I always forget about that they were dating in real life.
Yeah, I usually think it's what helps gives them the chemistry on screen, because you can really feel the genuineness in it.
Wish that translated into the home trilogy.
Oh, same. But I think it gets a little better with Brand New Day. I'll just say that.
Okay.
But Max, Electro, I actually really like Max. You can talk about the design being a bit fucky. I'm not against blue, but the makeup's a bit But I like Max as a character. I remember like sympathizing with him a lot, especially on my first watch through. But for me, it's not even past Times Square. It's specifically when Peter breaks that goddamn calculator, and that whole plot line begins. Is like the single moment where everything goes to shit after that for me. Because that's when the movie then just focuses in on all its weak points.
Yeah, because like I say, I think there's a version of the film that could have been just minorly tweaked to really be an incredible Spider-Man movie. You don't really need to change major elements of it to... I mean, okay, you need to change one major element of it, and that's just both movies, you scoop out his parents. You just act like that shit doesn't exist. But in Spider-Man 2, or Amazing Spider-Man 2, sorry, all you really need to do is, like, you just need to tweak how paced out Harry's storyline is.
Yeah.
Because that sort of becomes the crux of the second half, but it is speed running like Raimi's arc of Harry hating Spider-Man for
which was spread out across 3 movies.
Which is spread out across 3 movies, and it's done in like 20 minutes in this movie, and it comes out of nowhere with no real good reasoning. Because I think you could have spread it out across the rest of that back half of the movie and put him in the position of having a vendetta against Spider-Man by the end of it. And not have him suit up and just appear as Green Goblin or Hobgoblin or whatever fucking goblin he's meant to be.
Absolutely, and it doesn't even make sense in the universe of what that film is trying to create with him, because like the main crux of Harry's problem in this movie is that it starts when we first see him. We see this universe's version of Norman Osborn dying from some sort of disease that's hereditary with the Osborns in this universe. Goblin disease or whatever. Yeah, to steal fucking how it should have ended from 12 years ago's joke of goblin disease, but like we see that version of Norman die, and Harry's clearly spooked by it because hereditary, it's gonna happen to him eventually. But the thing is, it's gonna happen to him eventually. Because Norman is like what, 60 something?
Oh yeah, he's had enough time to set up the whole company and have it be super successful, and he's like an old man.
Says that he's been living with this for years, and like it's only gotten worse in the last few years where he's like bedridden, but like Harry treats it like he's gonna be dead in one.
So does the movie though. Like he suddenly gets like something on his neck, and he's got more. I think he has something on his arm at one point, and it's like, okay, hold on. This man was like in his 60s when he died, and was clearly much further along. This man's like 20.
Yeah. And we have this 15-year-old playing like Harry Osborn. This random child has wandered onto set.
No hate to the actor, but
no, absolutely not. I have seen him in like one other movie, and I think his performances are usually fine. He does well in this movie with what he's given. It's just
Dane DeHaan. Dude. Yeah, Dane DeHaan.
Yeah.
It's the haircut, the I don't know if he speaks like that in real life, but there's an odd mismatch of the voice to the face. Like he's putting on a false
I think
deeper.
He does.
His voice just seems a little too deep.
The Dipper Pines effect.
Yeah. And there's the personality as well in this movie just sort of sucks. Like even when him and Peter first interact, it's like, yeah, he warms back up to him, but I'm like, you clearly have like some just purely alternative goal here.
Yeah, I think what they were trying to go for was the whole sort of rich kid, sort of sheltered upbringing thing, because the explanation of how he's Peter's lifelong friend, but he just didn't appear at all in the last movie.
Not even mentioned.
No, is that he was on some sort of long-term boarding school or whatever, I think.
There's a whole expo dump in there that I'm like, yeah, sure, man. Whatever.
Cool. Whatever, man. Yeah, but like, that's the expert. So I feel like what they were trying to go for is that, oh, he's never actually opened up to an actual person before, like Peter, like in a while. But it comes off very stilted, and not in like the narrative way, just in the sort of not quite working way.
You never get the impression that these guys knew each other for a seriously, like, we're best friends and had a long-standing relationship. It's not particularly well handled, especially because the extent of it is just a long sequence of expo dumping between the two of them.
Yeah. I'm gonna go, sorry to like...
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna turn. I'm currently being enveloped in darkness right now, and I can see my own face, like getting the sort of green glow of like what my PC looks like. I'm getting goblin disease right now. So I'm gonna turn on a lamp real quick.
Goblin D's nuts. I've been fighting that joke for so long.
Goblin D's nuts, Spider-Man. Yeah, but like Harry's just doesn't work in this movie.
No,
is our point. I think.
Like I say, I think there's a version of it that you can make work. This guy who has maybe had some previous friendship with Peter that is now in this position of facing an inevitable death that sort of has the longevity of a normal person, but that's besides the point. Who turns to, tries to reignite the research, or tries to reinitiate the research that someone like Connors was doing.
I mean, look at the Insomniac games. I know it was a decade ago, but they basically played a similar idea off pretty well. I know Spider-Man 2, Insomniac Spider-Man 2 is a bit more scrutinized in the first game in terms of its plot, but I feel like they did the Harry stuff mostly well in that game, and it's definitely better than what was happening here.
But I mean, the upside of the Insomniac stuff is that it being an interactive experience is that there's a lot more you can find out about Harry through the world. You know, like when MJ breaks into the Norman apartment, like
in the first game,
in the first game, like you can find out a lot about Harry's situation by listening and interacting with things in that apartment, because they, like, in universe to them, if anyone hasn't played the Insomniac games, Peter and MJ are completely in the dark as to why or what's wrong with Harry in that game. They think he's went to visit Europe.
Yeah, it's the same sort of setup where Harry's got some sort of like hereditary disease, this time on his mum's side and not Norman's side, so that Norman can be an actual character in these games. Whereas no one gives a fuck about Mrs. Osborne. She's always dead. Sucks to be Mrs. Osborne. But Harry's, it's a similar setup there where, like, the thing is, the first Insomniac games, like you said, set up the groundwork and like actually mentions Harry in the first game, thankfully.
Because, like, even just on a dialogue level, like MJ and Peter will mention that Harry's away in Europe, or I think there's one point Peter laments not being able to talk to him and stuff like that. So, you know, you get
there's a whole side quest chain where like research stations where you get like the audio recordings of Harry, and like he just talks about, you know, oh, I've set up this thing so that you can do this side quest while I'm away in Europe.
So you get a much better sense of their friendship at that point in time, from just that one game where he is not present. So just to have him suddenly appear in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 with no groundwork whatsoever, and just having Peter suddenly go, Harry Osborn? I know that guy.
My best friend? From childhood? Yeah.
Okay. You would think Gwen Stacy would be aware of that, because apparently, you know, they would have gone to school together at the very least for some amount of time, but no.
Do they even have it implied that they've met in that movie? Like,
no.
Gwen and Harry? Because I don't think they
There's
do.
a whole scene where Harry is in, like, the lift with Gwen.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, it's nice to finally meet you. And she says something about, oh, you know, Peter's never had a chance to introduce us because things have been so busy or whatever. And then that scene just sort of ends after she gets out of the elevator, and it's like, okay, I don't really get the purpose of this. She's just escaped the security guards. And
it is purely so that she doesn't go, who the fuck is this guy when she's about to die? That is the only reason that scene exists, and it is painful.
Yeah. Oh, man. There's
by the way, Felicia's in that movie.
Oh, fuck, you're right. Fucking Felicia is in that movie. Why can't...
Black Cat?
It's never even once implied as to anything about her. She's called Felicia. They never even... I don't even think they mention her second name in that movie.
No. But she's played by Felicity Jones,
Felicity Jones, I think, is her name. Yeah, she plays Erzo, Jen Erzo in Rogue One.
Yeah, so she's like a familiar face, even at the time, because I recognized her as at the time as being like a not like huge face at the time, but being like known. So it was like, okay, this is clearly set up for Black Cat, which now never happened because that universe didn't take off, even though Sony tried so hard in that movie.
It sucks because I would love to see some kind of incorporation of Black Cat as part of Peter's story. Not necessarily don't make her a love interest. Like if you're having like one or two, like if you're having Gwen and MJ around, don't make her part of the love story. If it's just MJ, absolutely, because I think there is a dynamic there that would work. But I would just love to see Black Cat, because it's the thing that I'm begging them to do, is at some point realize you don't need to have everyone be introduced. You can just sort of drop everyone into the world and have it
Yeah.
already very textured, and people will learn as they go along, and you can just have Peter be and know these people, and these people come up as part of the story or whatever. And
Yeah.
I just want to see a more fleshed out version of the Spider-Man world that we see in the comics and other media, the video games and whatever, because there's really interesting characters in there, and some of them have just literally never made it on screen because we just keep getting the same fucking ones.
Because they keep resetting every few years. So it feels like now Tom Holland's finally in a position where like the wider Spider-Man mythos like pops up, because it's not really a spoiler, but I will say it again. In Brand New Day, there are just some villains that are like there that just pop in, and like they don't go into any like backstory or anything.
Yeah.
They're just like, you know who this is. You know Spider-Man enough to know who this is. It's fine.
That's sort of what I think from the trailer, from the sort of way that the MCU is now, and sort of the way they've been handling the movies since sort of Endgame onward, is that I think they're really in a position to do Spider-Man the right way, in a world where, in a version of New York where people can just fucking appear, and it doesn't matter what the larger implication of them being there is. They can just be present or pop in, and Peter interacts with them, you know, the kind of way that like he and Daredevil like have like a long-standing kind of friendship in the comics.
Yeah, like, again, to bring up the Insomniac games, like, at one point Shocker just drops in at some point in the plot in the first game, and he's just sort of a footnote, but like, you know who Shocker is. Because no one cares about Shocker, really. He's not a deep villain. He's just an arsehole that shoots sound waves, and it's like, Peter's like, oh, hi again, Shocker, are we doing this? And it's like, yes, we're doing this. I'm bored tonight, come on.
He's Shocker, the guy who shocks things.
He's the Shocker, he shocks people. Sorry, that's gonna be an in-joke for us, because I don't know why, and I'll talk about it a bit more when we actually talk about Homecoming. I love that line from Michael Keaton, where the way he says it is just so weirdly powerful. I'm the Shocker, I shock people. He's just so angry in that moment, it gets me.
I think we can just sort of go into the Home trilogy now, because all we're going to do is just keep ragging on the amazing movies at this point. And like, I think, you know, I gave the first movie a 7. I think it tries, it's saddled with issues of having to reboot, but the cast is strong, the music's strong. They do shoot New York in a really interesting way in comparison to the Raimi movies in that and the Amazing One, that I think still works. Amazing Spider-Man 2 issues, think it could be a great movie. Again, they shoot New York in a way that like is different from the Raimi movies. It still feels like New York, but it's different stuff that we're seeing, and it's shot in an interesting way.
It's a big city, you can do that.
Big city, you can do that. Music still continues to be great. Cast continues to be great. They get to shine more. It just sucks that it's completely undone by a couple of subplots that fuck up the pacing and stuff. I gave that like 5.
Okay, which, you know, is pretty. I'd say pretty, you know, generous.
I say it's generous,
overall.
yeah.
My last only thought I have, specifically on the second one, is that again, I like Electro in that movie. I think he's like pretty good. This is a point that will come up later, which is why I'm mentioning it now. But I like Electro, and I will always give a shout out to his theme. I think it's called My Enemy, where like people can make fun of the way some of the lyrics are said at some certain points in that movie, but or in that theme, when he starts whispering in the middle of like the song, it can get a bit okay. Now it's kind of comical, but I don't know why, I just really like the kind of dubstep it's going for.
It's an interesting route to take it. I think having dynamic sounds within your score to represent different characters is great. And for a more no, because the original, well, you know, less Danny Elfman and more sort of
less like heroic scores, which Chasm 2 does do, but for Electro specifically, it feels a lot more raw and a lot more like tied in with the character and what's happening on screen.
Yeah.
It works especially well in that Times Square scene is what I'm thinking of, which is a highlight of that whole movie.
Yeah. And I think it's great because, like, you know, I love Michael Giacchino as a composer. I think he's fantastic. He is a bit too referential, though. He loves to build on themes, and I think what kind of surprised me watching Amazing Spider-Man is that those soundtracks are those soundtracks. They are uniquely identifiable to those movies, whereas like the home trilogy can err into the territory of like, let's build on the iconic sounds of Spider-Man, which is which it can work. It can work. I think there is a definable Spider-Man theme, and it's the same with Batman. I think working off of those is a fantastic way to initiate familiarity. However, I do think it rips some identity from the home trilogy as a whole, but also because it falls into the problem of kind of just sounding like the MCU in general.
Absolutely, because to go on the soundtrack then for the home trilogy, I think the best part of like the entire soundtrack for me, there's two parts that really stick out into my mind. One of them is just the main theme of that trilogy again, which is like the only real original piece I can think of from those movies, because it's the only one that ever stands out. But like when it's the start of Homecoming and it's like the Marvel Studios title sequence and it has the classic 60s sort of Spider-Man piece done in a cinematic way, that always like hypes me up. It takes me right back to seeing that movie in the cinema again. And the sad thing is none of the rest of the trilogy really gets to me like that.
Yeah.
Because it sucks that it's just the classic Spider-Man theme again. It's not unique to this Peter other than this incarnation's own unique theme, and the only time that theme gets anywhere close to that for me is the end of No Way Home.
Yeah.
Beyond that, it's just an MCU soundtrack.
Yep.
And it sounds the same as every other MCU soundtrack.
Yeah. But the home trilogy's good. Overall.
I think I could say that.
Yeah. I think it has a very odd start because it immediately, now you're asked to forget a major thing it does at the beginning, which is, it says 8 years later, after 2012, the Battle of New York, which means it would have been taking place in 2020. Still
That's
3
right.
years post when it came out, and also not even close to the events of Infinity War or Endgame.
To risk restarting discourse from 2017. How the fuck did they get 8 years from that?
No.
The only possible explanation I can think of is for some reason, someone at Sony thought that Avengers 1 took place in 2008.
But how?
Or 2009? I don't know. Maybe there was... I could maybe believe some early MCU lore that stated, oh, everything that happened between Iron Man 1 and Avengers all happened in 1 year.
Yeah. I
remember that
maybe see that.
Yeah, I think that maybe went around at some point, but like after a while, they just completely trashed that and said, no, Avengers 1 happened in 2012.
Yeah.
Like, the movies happen in basically the years they came out in, other than like up to Endgame.
Up to Endgame,
where the 5-year jump just kind of fucked everything up a little bit on that.
Yeah, because
it's just kind of hard to tell.
I've seen a few people being confused why Aunt May's grave says 2024, and they're like, but the movie came out in 2021. And it's like, yeah, well, if you weren't fucking asleep at the wheel when you were watching Endgame, you would know why.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is there, dear viewer, the year is 2018, the years 2019 to 2022 just never happened in the MCU for our purposes, because, you know, the snap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that on the great... Actually, this is funny, because I remember kind of bring it up to you a little bit when I was watching No Way Home prior to when I watched Brand New Day, because there's a part at the end of the movie where we see Aunt May's grave and the year is covered up, other than the 20 part. It's clearly left ambiguous because they didn't know what to do at the time at that point. But I do remember thinking, like, I was making a joke about something Ned said, and I was like, Ned Leeds 2025? Or what year is this? It never really says. The time jump kind of fucked us up. And then I went to see Brand New Day, and the grave comes up 2024, and I was like, okay, canon. That's when that movie took place.
Yeah, because it doesn't help that 5 years elapses for Endgame, and then we end up in No Way Home. No, sorry, you have Far From Home, and this is taking place immediately after it. So you're like, okay, when am I calculating from to figure out what fucking year we're in?
Yeah, because the reason I went with 2025 initially on like when No Way Home came out was because in my mind, Far From Home takes place like a year after Endgame, because they talk about how they had to start the school year over again at the beginning of that movie, and I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's never really actually stated, but I always figured like the trip to Europe was like an end of year sort of like thing.
That's what I thought too. Because especially with at the beginning of No Way Home, after he's like discovered, after his identity is revealed and he goes back to school, they do say he's starting his final year. So my assumption was that like that was an end of year school trip, and then we're going into their final year now in No Way Home. But timey-wimey, wibbly wobbly,
timely wibbly,
fuck that. Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
There you go. Thank you, David Tennant. But yeah, don't think about the timeline too hard.
Yeah,
basically.
don't.
To get back to our original point with
Homecoming.
Tell that 8 years later thing to go fuck itself, because even Sony admitted that was just a straight up mistake.
Yeah.
Which makes me surprised on why they've never gone back and changed that on any subsequent release, which kind of respect that they haven't, because I'm against the whole George Lucas thing of just changing things.
I think
for
changing
continuity's sake.
A number like that, though, is sort of inconsequential in the long run of things. It's not like changing scenes or like complete renders of artwork and stuff like that. I think, when they had released it in theaters and people went, ah, and then they went, ah, shit. I think when it came to home video, they could have absolutely made the fix, and then I remember being kind of shocked when I saw it on the 4K disc, and I was like, wow, this is still here. This is just gonna confuse people for years to come now. But yeah, tell that 8 years later to fuck off and just pretend it says like 4 years or 5 years later or whatever. It's taking place in 2017. Just don't think about it too hard.
Yeah. He's a year older from Civil War, or at least a few months older. Just go with it. Just go with it, please.
Yeah. It's crazy he was in his 20s when making that, because he's just a fucking baby.
He's a child.
He is a child.
It's worse. It's worse in Civil War. He always looks like an actual, like, 15-year-old in Civil War specifically.
Have you seen, like, his audition tape?
I don't think I have, no.
He genuinely looks like a child in his audition tape, which was being filmed by John Bernthal, by the way.
Oh.
John Bernthal filmed Tom Holland's...
Oh my god, I'm seeing images right now. That is...
Yeah.
That is... I don't know if this is a great way to say it, but that is 2012 hair that he has in that audition tape.
Yeah, one of because of the Odyssey, one of the big recent lore drops is that when Tom Holland was auditioning for Spider-Man, he and John Bernthal had been working on a film. They had actually known each other for years. They'd worked for each other for a while. Yeah, because
they are close friends. Well, close friends, I think.
Yeah, they are. So when he had to do a self-tape, John Bernthal taped it and encouraged him to do like the backflips and add in the characterization stuff that like Tom Holland was going to do. And then when they did that, he handed him the camera, and Tom Holland filmed John Bernthal's tape for Punisher.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah,
that little flat they must have had was just basically birthed two Marvel like
yeah.
characters right there and then. It's amazing that John Bernthal was the one to say add in the flips and
Mm-hmm.
stuff because I remember specifically that is what got Tom Holland the part.
Yeah.
That you had like the acrobatics down.
2 seconds.
Oh,
Okay.
technical difficulties.
So good.
A bag has appeared in your
Yeah.
background now.
It's gonna
What's in
blow.
that bag? You'll never know.
But yeah, no, because Tom Holland was like he wasn't sure, like, how far do I go with it? How do I do these things? Do I show off? Do I go to that degree? Because obviously he can do that stuff. He's very acrobatic and stuff like that. And yeah, it was John Bernthal that encouraged him to like throw it in and show what he can actually do. And yeah, got him apart, which is crazy.
Yeah, that is great lore. That's great real life lore right there.
Especially now that they're finally on screen together in Brand
Yeah,
New
and you
Day.
can feel it, by the way, that they are like good friends because it comes across very naturally on screen. And again, they don't do a first meeting thing in like Brand New Day. I'm hoping that's not a spoiler for you.
Oh no, so I'm assuming the like chase sequence we see in the trailer is when they meet in the movie.
Yeah,
diegetically.
that's when Punisher just first shows up, and
good,
it's like
good. I was hoping that was the first scene where they meet, because I was like, I do not want him meeting and them getting to know each other. I just want them to
they play the time between movies very well, where it's very clear that Peter has made an establishment and a stamp on New York as just Spider-Man on his own for a while. So he's got connections like Punisher, like just already established. So you'll be happy to see that, I'm sure.
Oh, good. It's shaping up to be so... Oh, I'm so excited to go see it.
I'm kind of jealous that you get to see it the first time again. Well, you get to see it for the first time at all. I don't get to see it the first time again. But yeah, Homecoming. Ironically, because of what I've just said about Brand New Day, Homecoming kind of suffers because it doesn't have any of that.
Yeah,
it is loaded with baggage.
It is. It's in such a strange place within the MCU. Both that and Far From Home really suffer from Marvelitis.
It is Marvel Studios Spider-Man movies at their core, which means they're part of the timeline, which means Homecoming has to play off of Civil War because that's where we introduced this Spider-Man, so that's clearly what he has to talk about in the first 20 minutes.
I think it's like a Phase 3 problem, kind of specifically, where Phase 1, Phase 2... all the characters who had independent films, they kind of felt like independent storylines. They may have had something that was like, okay, I can see how this is important later, or how it builds into the larger universe. You know, Civil War, fucking Winter Soldier, all that sort of stuff. You can now especially see the trajectory into like Civil War and stuff like that. But Phase 3, it's like everything had to be super interconnected. I think Black Panther is probably like the most disconnected pre Civil War. No, in fact, that's post Civil War. What am I talking about?
By Phase 3, for the first two phases, you could watch any superhero sort of independent series largely independently. You could go from Cap 1 to Cap 2. And you maybe want to see Avengers, but you don't necessarily need to understand that, oh, Steve's been in the modern world for a while now, he's made connections with the modern world, and it's still following on from stuff that was set up in First Avenger. Civil War really wanted you to watch the Avengers movies.
And just about everything fucking else that had happened up until that point.
Yeah. Except, like, Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's only because they were far off in space. They literally couldn't connect. Yet.
Yeah. So it puts it in that weird position of, like, okay, Civil War's just happened, and now we have this kid who is Spider-Man we're doing a Spider-Man movie, and you watch it, and you're like, okay, the first 20 minutes of this is recapping Civil War for any of the people who didn't want to watch Civil War. But I feel like at this point, you've probably seen Civil War.
You want to watch Civil War just to get some sort of context on what universe you're in. They don't do the origin, thankfully, because everyone was fucking sick of the origin by that point.
But I also don't feel like they do a stellar first outing for him either.
No.
Like, it's
a good movie.
It's a good movie, and it's neat enough. It's not enough sort of like, it's the problem with being part of like the midst of a larger universe and being drawn into something like Civil War before we really get to meet him, is that this Peter now has the expectations of facing Avenger level threats, and so it means that the street level stuff sort of gets shoved to the wayside. We don't really get to see him doing the majority of the like low level crime and building himself up. It's, you know, we see some interactions.
It's mostly done in like a short montage of like stuff. And you're right that Homecoming is just sort of suffered by the position it's in, because it's between Civil War and Infinity War, both of which Peter is going to play significant parts in. Infinity War definitely, because he fucking dies, but
I don't want to go.
It means that stop quoting David Tennant again. But it basically means that Homecoming is stuck where like it can't really change much about Peter, because you can't have character changing stuff happen before it goes to Infinity War and he's still Peter.
Yeah. And then, you know,
does the stuff that happens in that movie.
I'd just shove an epilogue for a prologue for Avengers Infinity War at the end there. Just, you know, put that, just tack that on. Just, you know, like all of the fucking half of the end of Phase 3 movies prior to that did. They were just like, let's just add on a nice little 10 minutes to this that's just entirely for Infinity War.
Ragnarok, I remember, is like a big one where like it is just the post-credits scene, but like no, not really, because the entire climax of that movie is basically to explain how half the Asgardians end up dying.
Yeah, you're right.
And again, Ragnarok itself is also a good movie. It's still the best Thor movie, but
yeah, it's before Taika Waititi'd all over it.
Yeah, it's when he still had some like, you know, some limitations on him, because the studio was like, oh, you're Taika Waititi, you can do whatever the fuck you want. For better or for worse. I don't hate the guy, it's just, you know, sometimes he's too much.
Yeah.
And Thor Love and Thunder was too much.
Yeah.
But Homecoming also does suffer from that, where like you have to have that whole ending 10-20 minutes of Tony taking him to the compound and he's gonna be an Avenger now, and look, there's the Iron Spider suit. Look at it, you're gonna see it again very soon. Coming out next year.
Don't forget that Ant-Man had the whole like that was for Civil War, actually. I'm forgetting. Where they had him like encounter Falcon and stuff like that. It's kind of dumb.
It's dumb, but I will say it does work for the first Ant-Man movie's tone, where like just suddenly Falcon comes in, he's fighting him, and he's very clearly out of his depth.
So yeah, it feels weirdly stifled by its position, because Peter can't really do too much development. He kind of needs to be the same rash, irresponsible Peter. Heading in.
He has to learn the lesson, but not fully yet, because we've got another movie after this. Where he also basically learns the same lesson.
He needs to be in the same position to decide that getting on the alien spaceship's a great idea.
Yeah, you know, you can't have that much character development when he still has to be a dumb teenager for the next Avengers movie. At the very least, Michael Keaton fucking
Oh yeah.
eats up that movie.
Yeah. I love sometimes when he's just in a different movie.
Yeah, the fucking car scene is like peak. Keaton does not realize this is a cozy MCU movie, so he's going full horror villain.
God, no, he really does steal the show in Homecoming. It's crazy because he, you know, I love when actors are brought into the MCU and like some of them come in and it's like, this is a paycheck. It's like, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fault them for that. Samuel L. Jackson's been pretty upfront of like, you know, find a role where you can get the paycheck. As an actor, you need something like that, and it's like that. Yeah, I get that. I mean, he still always kind of knocks it out of the park as Nick Fury.
Yeah, because he's Samuel Jackson, but there's also the part where Nick Fury doesn't really need to do that much in like most of the movies he's in. I think the most he's ever done in the MCU really is still just the first Avengers movie.
Yeah. So like, you know, some actors come in and they do, and that's it. Whereas Michael Keaton came in and kind of went, I'm not gonna lower my standards here. I'm gonna be me, and I'm gonna do my absolute, you know, acting. And it's
I'm gonna go ham.
I'm gonna go ham, and he does, and it's great because you know the whole I'm the shocker. I'm the guy that shocks people.
Yeah, he's giving it his all in that line, and it's so viscerally on another level. I think compared to everybody else on that scene, because you've got whoever's playing both Shockers in the movie. Because again, Shocker is such a nothing villain; you can give it to anyone. Yeah, they're Shocker now. But Michael Keaton's like calling yourself the Shocker. I'm the Shocker. I shock people. It's almost Willem Dafoe levels of an unhinged in that scene.
Because it's like, I feel for the guy, but whoever plays his guy in the chair, I don't even know his name, who's always working on like the, you know, he keeps bringing up the vacuum sealer, whatever it is.
Michael Keaton's Ned in this movie.
Yeah, Michael Keaton's Ned. Two, no offense to him, two very different calibers of actors right there.
Yeah. One guy was clearly from a sitcom or whatever.
Yeah.
They just pulled from this, whereas Michael Keaton is Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton is Michael Keaton. The Les storyline though. Let's there's not much to really unpack though, is there?
No.
Why did they do that? Why did they do that?
To be fair, it's comic accurate because Liz was also technically the first romance of comic 616 Peter, but it was so fucking tiny, nobody remembers.
Oh, I did not know
Liz
that.
is the girl.
Yep, she is here.
She is the girl.
And he and Ned ogle her a lot. It's weird.
I don't even think Ned is really doing it for himself. He's just doing it because Peter's doing it, so he's just following along.
He does point out, you know, how long to do this is too long for it to be weird.
It's now.
It's
It was 5 minutes ago, really, Peter. But it's now.
It's
even like MJ has to call him out on it before we even know it's MJ.
Yeah. Because like it takes up such an insubstantial amount of the film that like the twist works for her being Toombs' daughter, but also I don't believe that she would ever say yes to Peter in this instance. No.
She's very passive about it, even in the scene.
Yeah,
she's just like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's such a weird setup, and then she's upset at the end with him.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, from her point of view, Peter doesn't give an explanation on why he just blanks her. From her point of view, he got the dad talk from her dad and then just immediately chickened out.
Which, to be fair, if you got the dad talk from Michael Keaton, I'd probably be like, yeah, I'm out of my depth. I'm gone.
Yeah, but she doesn't clock it's Michael Keaton as her dad. She is just so checked out of that entire scene in the car as well. It's like, I think I think Vulture could literally have said to Peter, "I'm gonna cut your fucking balls off, kid." Like in the car, and Liz wouldn't even like register it.
Yeah. uh,
It's weird that MJ is just a part of this movie, despite
yeah.
not really being introduced at any point.
Yeah, we only really get her like name at the end, and then
Yeah.
that's it. It cuts to credits, and she's not really like a substantial character. She's just kind of there in a small amount of scenes.
In this movie, she's kind of like an ascended background character
Yeah.
who just has more lines than you'd expect, which I'm sure is on some level the intent, but at the same time, it's like, is she just here because she's Zendaya and some of the Disney Channel kids are gonna recognize her?
Yeah.
Because I'll say it right now, when I first saw this movie in the theaters, I had no idea who she was.
I don't think I knew who Zendaya was at the time, to be honest.
No, so when she revealed that her friends call her MG, even though she doesn't have friends, at the end of the movie, I was just like, oh,
same.
okay.
I was like, okay, I guess that's this universe's MJ. I have a couple of questions.
That MJ? Okay, that's a little different. I'll get used to it.
Where's the red hair?
Yeah, my immediate thought has always been, you're not a redhead.
Yeah.
I still got my MG. Like, skin color, I don't care. As long as you've got the red hair somewhere, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Diet. Now it's just becoming the background staying character.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's weirdly handled because she has probably like the same amount of lines as Flash in Homecoming.
Yeah.
Because they weirdly try and they flip-flop between having him be some kind of character and some kind of background comedic relief.
Can we just say Flash sucks in these movies?
Oh, he does.
Because he really does.
In the nicest way possible,
no hate to the actor.
Is it Tony Reviol? Shit.
Hold on. MCU actor Tony Revolori?
I gotta see it written out here. Tony Revolori.
Oh yeah, he was in Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, I mean this in the nicest way. Please just piss off back to the Wes Anderson movies. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't care for you
movies. I don't care for you as Flash Thompson because you're just kind of fundamentally not Flash.
You're not Flash Thompson. Hashtag not my Flash Thompson.
And I know characters can change depending on the adaptation. I'm not against that. It's just this isn't really Flash Thompson at all in any capacity. No. Like, I don't see this version of the character going off to a war and losing his legs. Let's just say that.
No. This
I don't see becoming Agent Venom.
No, this Flash Thompson is a spoiled rich kid and is just kind of a dick. It's not really the, like, I guess you would describe it as jock troubled youth is sort of the angle.
He's not a jock.
But he's not a jock. No, but like that's sort of the general Flash Thompson character archetype is that he's a troubled youth who is a jock. So he's sort of meant to be the, like, you know, cool popular kid, but has other issues going on. He's on the football team, which, you know, is apparently a social standing thing for American high schools because y'all are, I'm sorry, y'all are fucking weird about fucking high school football. But here he's on the debate. No, not the debate team. The mathematics team? Math team? The quiz team? Because he's not a jock in these movies. He's more like just a failed nerd. Yeah. It's like, I feel like their intent was like, oh, kids these days don't have the 80s style, you know, jock and nerd stereotypes. We're moving past that. We're updating the character. But it's like, you kind of realize that, like,
you still kind of get bullies that are just, jock-ish.
Yeah.
Like, their whole thing is that they see themselves at least as physically stronger, and that's why they think they can, like, make people who they see as beneath them or weaker than them, like, their lives a living hell. But they didn't do that for this movie. Instead, they just made Flash a dick.
A dick, yeah.
But the thing is, I don't see why this Peter can't just tell Flash to fuck off and it would work.
Yeah. Because especially,
like... punches him in the face in Far From Home and no one gives a shit.
Yeah. And, like, in the first movie, everyone's on Peter's side. Like, no one else really likes Flash that much.
Peter's not unpopular at his high school. Like, nobody... He's not, like... it's not like he's got a fan club or anything in high school, but, like, people don't give him much trouble. He's just kind of normal.
Like, like, when Peter's like, oh, I'm gonna actually rejoin the team and I'm gonna get on the bus to go to Washington, because obviously, it serves its purpose of chasing Vulture or whatever. But they're like, Flash gives it the whole, no, I'm not gonna stand for this. You're not gonna just come back here and be welcomed back.
And then you can crawl your way back here.
And then the teacher's immediately like, Peter, welcome back.
Nice one, my guy. That's it. That's it. Done.
And the team are, like, pretty happy with him being back, but Flash is just still kind of moping, and, like, no one tells him to just piss off into the corner, which sort of just feels like the general vibe of people in the room when Flash is present, is that they just want him to fuck off into the corner.
The most Flash does to be anything close to popular is he has a party. I think it's his house.
Yeah.
I don't really know if it's his house.
Isn't it Liz's house?
He's the DJ in that house. I don't know if if it's his house specifically. They never mention it.
Isn't it Liz's house?
Is it?
I think
no. Yeah, you're right. It is, because Peter brings it up when they meet students. Yeah. So it's Liz's house, but, like, Flash is the DJ, even though he doesn't do anything like that for the rest of this series.
Yeah.
And he makes fun of Peter there, like, he calls out to him and calls him Penis Parker, why does anyone laugh at that? That is such a pathetic, like, name, or, like, a pathetic sort of dig, but, like, it doesn't come off that he's a bully, it comes off that he's just weirdly obsessed with him.
Yeah, it does.
And I keep expecting, like, one of the classmates to be like, why are you so obsessed with Peter, man?
Do you like Peter? You in love with Peter?
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean,
Peter.
the first thing you're referring to is his dick. Like, what's your problem, man? Like, it's cool. We're not gonna judge you, but, like, you gotta figure this out yourself.
It's 2017. Love is love, man.
Yeah. Disney were too cowardly to ever have this joke, but I swear to God, they very easily could have just been like, if you want to say something, that's cool. One of the classmates just pointed out how weird this is. He smacks his arse at some point.
He does. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, like, that just further adds to it, doesn't it?
Yeah. God, this version of Flash is weird, man.
Yeah. Just get over yourself, man. It's cool. No one cares.
And then Far From Home has also an odd position of having to epilogue Endgame.
Yeah. It sucks that it came out, like, immediately after.
Yeah. Because
it's a good movie still.
Yeah, because they both came out in 2019, right? Like, it was only, like, a couple of months apart, I think.
I remember it vividly because Endgame was coming out around the time I was having my final exams for high school at the time. And it was sort of like a good sort of pickup movie, like, after finishing my exams. So I went to see it with, like, my mum the first time, and then I went to see it again with a friend when it went back into theaters with, like, an extra scene tacked on at the end. Disappointing, by the way. It wasn't even like it was... They advertised it like... This is such a tangent, but they advertised that re-release like there was another scene added into the movie that they had finished off. Now, you watch the movie in full, and then, like, after the credits, one of the Russos comes up and be like, oh yeah, here's a deleted scene, and it's just, like, a scene of Hulk who's unfinished still from CGI, saving someone before he meets Ant-Man.
Why?
To get us back in the seats to see it again, because they really wanted to be the highest grossing movie of all time.
And now they're gonna do it with again before Doomsday.
They're doing it now with Brand New Day. It's coming to IMAX at some point later in the month.
Oh yeah, I mean, to be fair, that's more of a thing of coming out 2 weeks after the Odyssey. That's dumb. Why do you think you're gonna get IMAX screens around the biggest IMAX fucking movie that's ever been made? Dumb.
Yeah, Nolan always has that spot reserved.
Yeah, it's like releasing Doomsday against Dune. It's like, yeah, man, you weren't gonna get IMAX. What the fuck were you thinking?
But Christmas spot.
Yeah, we'll just wait until or go before Dune. Like, I don't know, anything to get the IMAX screens. Not that I'm that fussed about fucking MCU and IMAX. It's not that big a deal.
No. I'd rather Dune get it, but
yeah.
Far From Home.
Far From Home.
It's
the European road trip.
It is a fast food MCU movie.
Yeah.
And I mean that as both a compliment and a bit of a curse.
Yeah, because what I said about Michael Keaton in this movie, you know, you can kind of flip for Jake Gyllenhaal. He's good, but he's clearly
giving his best,
taking a paycheck. And I don't blame him. I think he's still a really great part of this movie. But, you know, he's not bringing his A game as an actor, I don't think.
Yeah, maybe not. It's hard to tell because at least half of this movie, he's being Mysterio, pretending to be a more heroic version, which means you're getting these very purposely cringeworthy deliveries. Or like he's talking about his dark and sad past while staring off into the middle distance, like very much on purpose, like trying to like hamp it up, but at the same time it's like, can you just shut up? How does no one else figure it out that you are a fucking comic book character in like a bad sense? He's not Michael Keaton.
No, he's not Michael Keaton. I genuinely forgot that he was in Far From Home until I started watching it again, and was like, oh yeah, Mysterio's the villain in this one. I somehow completely forgot that. It is literally the whole point of the film.
I only remember it's Mysterio because they give him a genuinely good sequence, like at the end of the second act, where it's like the whole drone vision battle.
Oh yeah.
Where they're just allowed to go fucking nuts with the VFX. Sorry to the VFX artists who are probably tortured to get that to work, but you know, it's a good sequence. I like it. It's the highlight of the movie for me.
Yeah. I like the reveal.
It's not even that much of a high, sorry.
Yeah, I like the big reveal where Peter gives him the glasses and then he walks out of the bar and everything slowly dissolves and you see it was a hologram. I think that's cool. It leads me to just so many questions about the hologram technology in this universe. Just it's in
don't question it.
Yeah, suspension of disbelief. I'm not gonna.
You kind of just have to like leave that at the door at the beginning of like Iron Man 2 if you're watching all of these movies in like a marathon.
It's funny that the nanotech never bothers me, but the hologram stuff, I'm like, I don't think you could fill the entirety of London with a massive monster attack.
It's funny. I didn't even think about it like beforehand until this watch through of Homecoming, where like you get the Iron Man hologram coming from whatever Ned and Peter are using to track like the tracker or whatever they put on like the bad guy, and it's like, how the fuck does this hologram work? How is it creating this 3D structure against nothing? Like, this makes no fucking sense. To which at that point another half of my brain did, just shut up, it's sci-fi. So I'm willing to just leave it at the door for Far From Home even more.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of annoyed with Far From Home and the fact that it's still heavily tied up with Tony again. And I know he just died in the MCU. You're allowed one movie to mourn him,
But
and
to be
sure, let it be Spidey.
yeah, but to be the Spider-Man movie, when the fucking first Spider-Man movie was, hey, what if he was Tony Stark Jr.?
Yeah, I think it was fine with Homecoming, but the fact that they did it twice,
Yeah,
basically in a row with
that's
these movies, is what annoyed me.
yeah.
And it didn't annoy me at the first time I watched it, but on this rewatch especially, I was like, okay, kind of just want my Spider-Man movie now.
I also don't think that despite all of Tony's flaws, he's dumb enough to give a kid a pair of glasses that can literally bomb people.
They were really banking on the idea that Peter and Tony would have such a strong link, like by the time Endgame happens. And in the Avengers movies, it's done pretty well. Their relationship, it's just realistically, they've only known each other for like a year, at most.
It's not
and Tony wasn't even around for a good chunk of that. He was just doing other shit and ignoring Peter.
And also, Peter was dead for 5 years.
Yeah, like 5 years between that, he was dead.
Yeah.
So, you know, it just feels weird to have him be like, oh yeah, I'm entrusting you with this high-grade military shit that I just have.
I'm trusting you with satellites that can kill people.
I'm not giving it to Rhodey. I'm not giving it to Happy. I'm not giving it to Pepper. All three of them I'd actually trust more than Peter. No offense to Peter.
He has an actual literal child now. And somehow the kid from Queens that he's met 5 times,
surrogate son
gets the fucking kill 'em all sunglasses.
Yeah, I love that. It's so dumb that like the entire bus sequence when he puts it on for the first time. I get what they're trying to do. It's supposed to be a funny little like teenage screw up where he accidentally sets a drone on the guy that he doesn't like in his class, but like it's done so stupidly, and it kind of makes Peter dumb in that scene enough for it to happen that it just kind of goes against the characterization of Peter, even in this universe.
Yeah,
he's not that dumb. He has to like clock that like calling his classmate a target means he's gonna be a fucking target.
Yeah, it kind of ties into like a larger thing with the MCU and superhero films in general that I'm now seeing become more of a conversation with the release of Brand New Day, because it's only seen a little bit in the trailer, but I think you'll probably know what I'm talking about when I start explaining it. So in The Dark Knight, ride with me for a second. In The Dark Knight, there's the whole thing where Bruce sets up the massive like surveillance network in Gotham.
Oh, the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act.
And it is such a like crossing of the boundaries for him that he gives up being Batman over it. And rightfully his allies are also like, yeah man, what the fuck is this? Why
like Lucius Fox just calls him out and is like, I'm not helping you with this.
Yeah.
I was with you up till now, but this is fucking insane, man.
It's seen as the moral failing and like genuinely nefarious thing that it is. Fast forward to sort of post Civil War, and now from what I've seen in the trailers of Brand New Game, Peter Parker just has this set up in his bedroom and it's not really seen as much of a issue. And also Tony's glasses can just sort of scan everyone's information and texts, and it's again the technology that Tony utilizes isn't really seen quite in the same light.
I'll tell you, in Brand New Day, Peter isn't using that to like spy on anyone or
no,
do
I'm not
like
saying he would. I don't think Peter's that kind of person.
Yeah, it's mostly just for like that whole setup in Brand New Day is basically his just sort of workshop for like his own tech. That's the only real purpose it serves.
Okay, well that's good. That's good because I
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
that and went, this looks familiar.
Yeah, it's not that. It's not that at all. It really is just Peter's little like workshop so that he can work on like his own like gadgets and stuff. It's basically what he does in the Insomniac games, where he
Okay,
builds
cool,
like
cool,
his
cool.
gadgets and stuff like that. I'll tell you again. There's even like it's not him that builds it, but in the movie he does get like basically the spider tracker app from the Insomniac games
Cool.
at some point as well. And it works like that, where it's not spying on anyone. It's just like, here's a sighting of Spider-Man. Or
Okay.
here's like something that's going on or whatever.
Okay, well that
So look forward to that.
good. Okay, that's good to know. But still, I think here in this film, it's definitely, we became a little more accustomed to being spied on.
Yeah, like the Edith thing, that's complete shit.
Yeah.
Like he immediately opens that and he's reading like private texts from his classmates and stuff, and it's like, this is kind of uncomfortable to have because they do a joke with Flash where like, haha, Flash's parents don't talk to him, and it's played off like a joke, but on this rewatch specifically, I was like, oh, that's kind of fucked up of you, Peter, just seeing that. Like, I don't like Flash, but that's kind of fucked for Flash.
They also double down on it where like when they get home and like the driver's waiting for him, he's like, oh, mother couldn't come, and he just sort of shakes his head, and it's like, this is kind of fucked up. Like, you're taking this to a weird degree here.
At the very least, like, it's not Peter that's seeing him at that point.
Yeah. I just think it's like it's the same kind of way as like the joke in No Way Home. I think it's playing
the one I have a problem with.
Yeah, I think it's playing something for a joke that maybe shouldn't be.
It's that peak Marvel MCU dialogue thing where it's like, you are making this a quip, and this is kind of a serious moment, and I don't think you've read the tone of what this scene is really implying.
Yeah.
We'll get to it a bit more when we actually talk about No Way Home. We have spent so much time on Homecoming and Far From Home.
We have.
Not even fully talked about the movies as plots.
No. Oh, man. But it's...
Europe's in this movie.
They go to Venice. Venice. And they fuck that.
They go to Venice.
Up.
They go to... Did they go to Prague?
They do go to Prague, yeah. They go to Paris.
No, they try to go to Paris, but they never actually make it to Paris.
And
then they go to London.
They go to London, yeah. They go to three big places.
You know, Italy, Czechia, the UK. That's Europe. Nothing else beyond that.
To be fair, it is the sort of some of the major regions. You got south, eastish, north,
central. We'll call it central.
Central, and then north,
and then like western Europe.
Yeah. It's
I wish they had gone to Dublin. That would have been funny.
That would have been so funny.
They go to the Netherlands.
Netherlands. Peter goes to the Netherlands.
We have to mention the Netherlands.
Hit by a train. No, he gets hit by a train in somewhere else.
Germany, I think.
Germany. Yeah. He goes to Berlin to meet with Fury, gets hit by a train, ends up in Netherlands.
Yeah, which... Not to speak for Melina when she's not here, but I think she has like said to us as a joke at some point, 100% perfect representation.
Yeah.
She can fully dispute that if she's listening. I don't think she's gonna listen to this.
She's gonna put a comment under this.
Yeah. Quote her on that. Totally her words. I am speaking for her.
I'm super pissed that on this rewatch I was like, yeah, there's not a single thing about this tulip field that's actually practical. They're just standing in the middle of a fucking green screen, and this is all digitally put in there. It's like you couldn't get...
We're so lucky this was before the volume became a thing.
Oh god. They couldn't get like some tulips for them to stand around in.
Too much. Just whip a VFX artist and it'll do it. It'll happen.
God. The thing about talking about both of these movies is that they're kind of there's not a lot to them. They're kind of inconsequential, insubstantial, and I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that in the way that they're played, because they kind of are
No.
aware of that, and they are more sort of like self-contained Spider-Man adventures without necessarily being self-contained Spider-Man character pieces, which is, I think, what most of the other Spider-Man movies have done prior to this.
Like I said, Far From Home especially feels like a fast food MCU movie. There's nothing super substantial there until like the very end, but that is the setup for the next movie, which actually is more substantial to Peter as a character. But it feels like these movies are basically what would be filler comics in between big arcs, like, oh, here's a short little mini run of Peter going through Europe and just having a fun time, and here's him in the suburbs, which I think was an actual short story at some point in the comics. Basically going, Spider-Man can't survive in the suburbs, there's no buildings to swing from, he's fucked.
Like, both Homecoming and Far From Home are kind of like here's the 4-issue runs that we're not going to put in any of the larger collections, and you're going to sit there and wonder why these 4 issues are missing when you're trying to hunt down a run.
Yeah. Spoiler, it's because nothing happened.
Yeah.
Look, you're going to be happy for that when we're going through Clone Saga, because there's so much of that, even when it sounds important, it really isn't.
I have so many Spider-Man comics to read.
How do you think I feel?
Oh god, yeah. So yeah, No Way Home kind of feels like the first substantial MCU Spider-Man movie that we get.
We got an MCU Spider-Man movie that actually feels like a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. And it's substantially better shot also. It's not... It doesn't get, like, really good until sort of the last hour-ish, but it's still more... It's still better than 90% of the MCU in terms of cinematography.
When it hits the moment of Norman fully becoming the Goblin in this movie, I think that's the moment where, like, the camera work specifically, because I'm thinking of, like, that's the Spider-Sense scene that everyone fucking loves, rightly so, because it is a good scene of just finally having Peter just fully go into his Spider-Sense, because that's just not a thing throughout. It's not a thing at all in Homecoming, really. It's barely mentioned of, and then in Far From Home, it's like they realized, oh fuck, we haven't really mentioned Spider-Sense yet, but we don't really. It's developing, and we're just calling it the Peter Tingle. It's funny, right?
Yeah.
It's funny, right? It's a funny name. Why aren't you laughing? But yeah, in No Way Home, they finally just let it be the Spider-Sense.
Yeah. I love when he gets knocked out of his, like, physical form by Strange, and in his astral form you can see the, like, animated comic video game.
It's
like,
so
lightning
subtle,
symbols.
but I love it.
Yeah. It's very, very hard to notice. Even in 4K, it's crazy subtle. But it's there, and I love that.
I remember noticing it in the cinema, and I can bring this up because we watched it in the cinema together with Melina when it came out, and I remember genuinely having to stop myself from pointing at the screen and going,
hitting the Leo pose,
yeah. But you know, I have shame, so I didn't do that in the cinema.
But no, it feels like a I think every single time we've discussed No Way Home, I've sort of described it as like this version of Spider-Man's origin story, not in the sense of
it really is.
How does he get the powers? How does he don the suit? But how does he become a full-fledged Spider-Man?
Yeah. The character that we actually know as Spider-Man really just gets born in this movie.
Yeah.
If he wasn't already born in the last few movies.
Because this is where we see, like, I think him, you know, even if you take out the sort of great power, great responsibilities line delivered by May in this film, you see him gather and sort of put in a row all the values and distinctive things that make Peter Parker and Spider-Man and that sort of whole character kind of finally comes together as a cohesive being in this film, whereas in the other ones it's like some of that was there but very sort of MCU-ified, the butter and the popcorn, you know.
Yeah. At the end of like, if it was this version of Peter from like Homecoming or Far From Home, I cannot imagine him being in the situation he's in at the end of No Way Home and surviving off of that. Like, I don't see him being able to cope with having an apartment that's just kind of shit. Yeah. And just having no tech and just having to like work on his own like knowledge and ability. I mean, technically he would have been able to, because we see a little bit of it in Civil War, but he wasn't doing it like full time or anything, is the implication. Whereas like No Way Home as a movie is actively trying to course correct that and be like, no, he can do that, and this is how we're going to fucking make him. It really feels like the movie takes on the idea that Norman kind of like says at one point, where it's like, you need to be fixed, you need to be corrected, into like, from Goblin's point of view, a twisted version of you need to be a better Spider-Man that actually kills people, whereas it feels like it's the movie going, you need to actually become Spider-Man. Yeah. Like now.
Because it's all well and good to just sort of dump us in, but if you're not doing some of the Spider-Man-esque things, you're not gonna have a Spider-Man feeling Spider-Man.
Yeah, you're not miserable enough, basically. Yeah. To put it very simply, we're gonna make you miserable now.
If life is not gonna continually try and fuck over Peter Parker and Spider-Man, he's not Spider-Man.
Yeah, and that in the comics it's become a detriment at this point, so I try not to parrot it. But like in the movies, yeah, he kind of just needs that bit of smack of reality.
Yeah, because like Peter is a guy who is constantly in a conflict of, you know, trying to be Spider-Man but also trying to be Peter Parker. He is the quintessential dual identity superhero. Aside from Batman, whole other character analysis though there, that's a completely different thing.
Yeah. I mean, the difference is Batman, if he could just completely dump the Bruce Wayne stuff and get away with it, he would in a heartbeat, because he doesn't like being Bruce Wayne at the end of the day. He loves being Batman and basically is just Batman at his heart, whereas Peter Parker kind of likes being Peter and having that non-superhero stuff. You know, he likes having a life. He's happy having a life.
Yeah.
But he feels an obligation, and he feels that he is also Spider-Man at the same time, and a lot of the time they just kind of fuck with each other.
Yeah. And I think that's sort of, it's the weird thing. They've had Peter say that multiple times across Homecoming and Far From Home, but it's never felt truly like an actual conflict of character.
Yeah, he always had like Tony or Happy to fall back on, whereas like this movie is actively making the point of, we are taking all of that away from you. Learn to fly, Spider-Boy.
Because like you could even say that Far From Home came close to doing it and then had Happy turn up and be like, okay, make your suit. And it turns into
I got you on the private jet. We got you, man.
And it turns into a weird Tony Stark Jr. thing again. It's like, okay, you were so close. You were so close.
They actively try to correct it with Happy saying, "You're never gonna be Iron Man. That's not."
And
what
then
you're
he immediately plays Back in Black.
Yeah.
Like Tony's literal theme from Iron Man. What the fuck?
And they have the moment where he's being clearly reminded of Tony, and he just is having like that moment.
Yeah, why?
Stop it. It's also not even, that's fucking AC/DC, you poser. Get it right. But yeah, No Way Home basically like, okay, if you're not gonna like we're gonna force boot Peter Parker into Peter Parker, and
Yes.
if we have to get the other villains from the other movies to do that, we're gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
If we have to get the other Peter Parkers to just make the point hit, we're gonna do
We're
it.
gonna do it.
And at the same time, it also gets more butts and seats because it's all 3 live action Spider-Man in one. And yes, it is fan service, and yes, I will fall for it every single time.
It's a nice passing of the torch that you don't really get super often, though, and I think that that's it lends again an interesting thing. I just kind of wish that Into the Spider-Verse hadn't come out prior to this. I wish Into the Spider-Verse had come out after.
Yeah, because it is basically just repeating from that,
Yeah.
and no doubt Into the Spider-Verse actually succeeding is kind of the reason
Oh yeah, 100%.
No Way Home happened the way it happened.
Mm-hmm.
But, and it is fan service, like I just said, but No Way Home was smart fan service in the sense that it wasn't lazy, because I remember going into No Way Home, and back when we were just kind of, it was rumored that Andrew Garfield and Tobey were in it, and we weren't quite sure yet because we saw it opening day, so there was still a bit of possibility. I do remember being a bit scared, like, if they are in this movie, are they going to completely overshadow Tom Holland in his own movie? Are they just going to steal the show? And they're a big part of it, but they don't do that, thankfully.
No, and they come in really late. They come in, I think, with 45 minutes of runtime left of the movie.
It's definitely in the back half.
Like, they do a whole movie, because the movie's long, it's 2.5 hours, and they essentially do a whole other movie before Garfield and Maguire turn up. And I think that that's really smartly done to have, like, build on the legacy villains being like, you know, okay, multiverse stuff, and this is a Peter that these guys clearly don't recognize, but also kind of see him as not as much of a threat as their Spider-Man, because, you know, they are much more developed Spider-Man. They had very different, you know, they had to go through the ringer, whereas, you know, Tom Holland didn't.
Tom Holland is a child that had a trust fund.
Yeah.
Which again goes into like the Goblin's whole thing of you gotta be fixed, because this ain't who's Peter Parker's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna kill your aunt to fix you.
And you know, you're seeing, even though Peter's dealt with literal aliens and Thanos and Avenger level threats, you kind of realize that some of the personal level threats that Spider-Man dealt with in previous incarnations were just a whole fuck of a lot more threatening. And that is just immediately made clear by Doc Ock and Green Goblin.
Yeah. I mean, even just like that part later in the movie where like Tobey's talking about his existential crisis and like his second movie, that feels like it was a whole lot more devastating to him than Tom Holland having to fight Thanos.
Yeah.
God, Alfred Molina just eats up this movie as well. Like, as much as Michael Keaton ate up Homecoming.
It's also crazy that Willem Dafoe can just effortlessly step back into.
That's just Willem Dafoe.
That's just Willem Dafoe. To be fair, yeah.
That is just Willem Dafoe. I think he just does that in his free time when no one's looking. Is there a bug on your camera?
There is a bug on my ring light.
Okay. I just know, sorry, dear listener, behind the scenes, I'm looking at Michael's like webcam, and like I just saw a little sort of creature on like the bottom half of it just go past, and I was like, what the fuck was that?
Oh, it's on my web. Oh, it's disappeared. I was gonna say it's on my webcam now. It's disappeared though. It's probably attracted to the fact the ring light's on.
Lovely, cool.
But
yeah, Willem Dafoe just does that in his free time, I'm convinced. He looks at himself in the mirror and does the goblin voice.
I love the costume design for Willem Dafoe throughout this movie, having like the consistent Green Goblin colors and actually sort of even though he is meant to be Norman throughout, you know, a good chunk of this, I think, you know, when you watch it again, you're like, actually, no, he's never stopped being Goblin. Clearly,
Goblin's always there.
Yeah. He's just waiting for the right opportunity to show up and cause mayhem.
Yeah, like, there's definitely on some level Goblin shenanigans happening to cause him to go to Aunt May immediately. Like, he says in the movie he came here because he saw Spider-Man, he wanted to help, but I know, even from my first watch through, I was like, nah, that's the Goblin telling me to just go to Spider-Man, so you're close to him. I do miss the helmet a little bit. I know everyone complains about the helmet because it hides Willem Dafoe's natural terrifying face.
Yeah.
And I get why they destroyed it, but at the same time, I like the Goblin mask.
I like this as a version where we get to see the face. Though I guess for how long he's really Goblin and on the glider and stuff like that, it would have been really insubstantial to have the mask, and that wouldn't have covered up too much of his performance in comparison to like Spider-Man 1, where, you know, it would have been cool to see him without it in Spider-Man 1 and see more of his like.
Can you imagine a version of like the No Way Home like design where like he keeps a part of the mask on him when he goes full Goblin? Like, I don't know, maybe have his mouth showing more, or like that. Like, I do like the design they've gone with. I like that this version is allowed to wear purple.
Yeah, that was my favorite thing about it, especially the glider having some purple on it too. I like that.
Yeah,
I didn't clock that in the theaters when we were watching it. I only clocked it on this watch through recently. But no, I like my Goblin with a bit of purple. That's it.
Yeah. No. You're right, and you should say it. I do like how it did perfectly, just like almost in universe accidentally became like the classic Goblin look, where he's got like a hoodie and like it's a sort of green. Is it a purple hoodie and green sort of shirt?
Purple hoodie and like for a chunk of it, it's like a jacket, like an overcoat, but it gets fucked up after the big reveal and the fight, and then it sort of becomes the classic like ripped arms
cloth thing that like the comic has, just without the mask, which is in the comic it is straight up a Halloween costume. So I get why no live action film has ever really gone all the way down that route, but as a close approximation, I like this version where it's evoking the style without actually being the classic costume, which wouldn't really work with the tone. As much as I wish that we would get one version that goes full, like, mask with the fucked up face, and isn't whatever the fuck TASM 2 tried.
I kind of wish that some of the armor wasn't on him in this version, if only because he kind of looks a little too bulky. It ruins once because I find it weird how in all of the shots prior to the flip, he's very clearly not got the armor on underneath.
Yeah,
but we're meant to then believe that he's had it on underneath the entire time when he's, you know, fought Spider-Man and then flies off away. So it kind of ruins the profile and silhouette a little bit, where suddenly he just looks a bit too bulky, and I think adding the stuff on that looks a bit more comic accurate, it's a weird like mashup that I'm like, I kind of would have just preferred the messed up clothes with like maybe the leg armor or something, but the top's a bit too bulky with that over the top of the armor. I kind of wish they had just taken some of that away.
Yeah, like even just like get rid of the actual body but keep the gauntlets so that you can have that sort of weird sword thing he grabs like at the end of the movie.
Yeah, the classic
yeah. That sort of whistle that I wish I could like recreate, but I can't whistle for shit. But we talk about Electro briefly.
Oh,
We've
yeah,
talked a lot in this
just a
episode already,
different
but we
guy.
Yeah, it's just Jamie Foxx. That's not Max from Amazing Spider-Man 2, that is just Jamie Foxx, who clearly just
Yeah.
did not want to be Blue this time. And he says in interviews how happy he is that he's not Blue anymore.
I don't blame him for not wanting it to be Blue. I wish they had kept some of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 characterization though, because he is just Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, like he's not the nerd that he was at the in TASM 2. He's not the awkward sort of like, because even as Electro in that movie, he's still kind of awkward afterwards. He's just got all this fucked up inhuman power and clearly doesn't know what he's doing. Whereas in No Way Home, he might as well be a different incarnation.
Yeah.
They didn't even give him the blue electricity, they made it yellow now.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is more accurate to 616 Electro, and there's even shots where like the electricity shapes what's like the classic shape of the mask. But it's like, come on. I did like parts of the TASM 2 version.
Yeah. They do sort of explain it away as like the electricity is different in
like
the MCU.
Fundamentally, there's just a difference in reality in this universe where the power is just sort of different. Like, sure. All right, man. That's how it works. Whenever you say Watcher. Yeah. So Electro is just a completely different Electro, played by the same actor,
same guy,
who's now just Jamie Foxx. Sandman is never his human self outside of stock footage.
No, he's always in sand form. Yeah, is he ever himself when they get the thing on him at the end?
There was only one time we see Thomas Hayden Church, I think that's the actor's name.
Yeah, it is.
As himself, but it is very clearly just reused footage from Spider-Man 3. I don't know if it was because of COVID, is the thing.
Oh, maybe, yeah, actually, I'm forgetting this would have been filmed, like, in the throes.
Yeah. Because they would have had to have abide by lockdown rules. I think, in hindsight, I think it's clear when it's, like, in the Doctor Strange basement when they're all in different like far off like prison cells. I'm like, okay, in hindsight, I think that's because of COVID.
Yeah, there is definitely like parts of the film where conversations have too many cuts, and you're like, yeah, this is definitely because you couldn't be too close to each other.
Yeah, like there's only a couple shots where Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Holland are clearly in the same room. Whereas, like, there's a lot of times where they're just cutting back and forth because they filmed maybe at different times or just because of social distancing. And also, Risa fans. I never know how to pronounce his name.
Oh, yeah. Kurt Connors is actor.
Yeah. He is also, the only time you see him human is also reused footage from TASM 1.
I did
and the
think
rest
that.
is just...
Because he never says anything.
No, and it's the same shot of when he's cured at the end of TASM 1 and he's on top of Oscorp and he's just kind of naked.
Yeah.
It's the same like shot basically reused and when he's like cured in this movie. But and the rest of it he's just CGI buff Yoshi.
Yeah, I wonder if they just got him in a vocal booth and had like someone else do mocap for Lizard.
I think that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the voice effect is not carried over from TASM 1, so he sounds completely different.
It's so disorientating when he first talks, because you're like, this is just a man's voice coming out of this thing.
Because I forgot about it until you pointed it out to me when you were rewatching No Way Home, that like, oh yeah, TASM 1 gives him like a deeper sort of like voice effect, I think. And
there's some sort of, at the very least, effect, some kind of distortion or something to give it a more...
There's no need to talk me, Peter.
Yeah. So, like, some of it, Risa fans is definitely just talking in a lower register, because that carries over. But whatever extra post work they did to give it maybe more of a animalistic sound or something affected by the fact the mouth structure is different, the lips and stuff are different. definitely doesn't carry over because that guy's just talking.
Yeah, it's just his voice.
Yeah. Because in TASM 1 you have the poor Peter Parker thing where it's very...
Yeah, where he spits every line.
Yeah. And like that, you can't kind of imagine that in No Way Home. The voice doesn't have that same quality to it.
No. I also think they've tweaked his design a little bit between TASM 1 and No Way Home. Like, he looks more lizard-ish.
Yeah.
That's the right way to describe it. Like, I feel like it's most notable in his eyes, because in TASM 1 he still has the human eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This feels like such a nerdy nitpick as well. I know someone's gonna listen to this and it's like, oh Jesus Christ, who cares? But in No Way Home he has more lizard-like eyes than TASM 1, and it's never brought up or explained as like a universe difference or whatever, or like a further mutation.
His whole face in TASM 1 is very humanoid, and I think it's way more...
It gives off very much Buff Yoshi.
Yeah, whereas in No Way Home it's very, very, like, it's much more lizard-esque. It lacks
it feels like it's closer to the comic.
Yeah, it lacks a kind of, I think, defined cheekbones and stuff, whereas you have that kind of humanoid skull silhouette within the TASM 1 appearance, whereas that sort of, it's more rounded out, I think, in No Way Home.
Our dear listeners aren't gonna like see this obviously, but I'm now just looking like comparison pictures in like our Discord server, and you can definitely tell there's a tweak in the design.
Yeah.
I was right about the eyes, by the way.
Yeah, because they give him the slit pupils in No Way Home, whereas he's just got, you know, normal human eyes in TASM. And like, yeah, that's what I was saying. It's got the sort of more humanoid cheekbones and facial structure, whereas it's a bit more not lizard-like, but definitely different. The mouth's different.
Animalistic.
Too. Animalistic, yeah.
Yeah, I will say I like the No Way Home design a bit more. It's just kind of weird compared to what you remember and what we're currently seeing right now with the TASM 1 design.
It also does, again, showcase something that I mentioned when watching it, is that the Raimi trilogy, the Webb trilogy, had really good CGI, and the MCU by this point was seeing such like a downward turn in its CG.
Because again, they kept whipping, literally, I mean, not just short of literally whipping the VFX artists and like the computer labs they were using.
Because, like, you know, it says a lot when you see the sort of behind the scenes gag reel, and that scene where Doc Ock has Peter upside down under the bridge. He's in a mocap suit. Tom Holland's in a mocap suit. There's no actual suit, and I'm pretty sure there's no physical prop for Doc Ock's like arms. I'm pretty sure he's just being wired around, and all that. Everything else has been added in post, and so it just removes a certain amount of weight to whatever's going on, because that even means that when he's hanging like that, the actual suit he's meant to be wearing underneath the suit has been digitally added in too. So it's like, even that is, you know, a lacking in weight thing.
Which, I get it for, like, I guess just pure practicality reasons for the shoot, because in that scene he's swapping between the normal tux and the Iron Spider nano suit stuff. But, like, it's just kind of excessive.
It is, especially when you see the kind of like video game mocap suit that he's in. You're like, surely there was something else that you could have done.
It is something I think they're fixing again, because I know Brand New Day, they've probably touched up some of the suit in post, but like, it is a physical suit.
Yeah. And
you can see it's a physical suit in multiple shots where like there's actual fabric there.
Yeah. It's very, very rare in the Home trilogy that you see shots where you're like, yeah, he's in the suit. You see the texture of the fabric in a way that you don't see it with the CG renders, and yet it's so few and far between. It's so few and far between, and yet it's just enough for the CG versions to just feel completely weightless.
Yeah.
And even stuff where they've shot it semi-practically with the suit and with like a soundstage replacement thing or like a practical prop being built, they somehow still in post made it look really weird and weightless. Like, I keep thinking of the top of the Washington Monument thing, which is something I immediately pointed out to you as to, like, why couldn't they have done like a soundstage thing and had Tom Holland wired up and in the suit and doing the thing? And then I immediately looked it up, and they did that, and it looks like they didn't do that, and it's like, okay, what the fuck?
You had it and then you lost it.
And then you lost it. You fucked it up.
Yeah. I always remember all the way back to Civil War where, like, for one, it's clear that in Civil War Spider-Man was added pretty late into production.
Yeah.
But, like, they had a physical suit for him for shooting Civil War, and it looks different from the one that we see in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but it looks... it was clearly shot that they would touch it up in post, but, like, it looks more real, and like the suit looks a bit more classic Spider-Man from what I remember, whereas, like, in the movie it clearly is just like a CG model Spider-Man for like 90% of it.
And, like, on some level I do get it, because Spider-Man's a very active, athletic character. He's bouncing around, he's flipping around, and, like, yeah, you have an actor who could do that. But to have a suit that can't adhere to the laws of superhero physics, you know, that can be harder. I get that. But at the same time, like,
Toby was able to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Garfield was able to do it.
Yeah. You know, we've lost the ancient texts, and they're not even that ancient yet.
No, exactly. Like, okay, the Tobey Maguire movies are 20 years old, but the Andrew Garfield ones aren't.
No, they're only 14.
Shut up.
Anyway, we've been talking for 2.5 hours already, so I think even though we probably could keep talking about Spider-Man for a while,
we need to shut up.
We need to shut up. So yeah, Spider-Man, wild career.
Yeah. We'll watch his career with great interest.
We'll watch his career with
I see a lot of promise in that boy.
Yeah.
There will undoubtedly be a part 2 to this episode when you've seen Brand New Day.
Oh yeah,
I imagine.
Sure. I'm sure at some point we'll also talk about the Insomniac games as well. It's been a while since we've done a video game episode thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, this month is looking to be a little bit different, episode-wise, because after this, you're pretty much just getting the rest of the Gundam stuff that we haven't covered for Universal Century.
We are staring down the barrel of the Gundam mines right now.
It's funny that we said we probably wouldn't be covering it again for a while after Stardust Memory, and then we immediately looked at what we were going to have to do before going back to normal, essentially, for recording, and went, if we don't cover these now, we don't know when we're gonna get to cover them again. Yeah. So
it may be another couple of years.
Yeah.
So you know, we might want to do it now.
Yeah. So like, yeah, let's just do Double Zeta and then Char's counterattack right after it. So yeah.
And I do want to state, we're not tired of Gundam.
No.
I was actually fully on board to jump on it when you suggested it.
Yeah,
I was kind of surprised in myself that I was like, I'm actually so down for more Gundam.
It felt like a daunting suggestion, but thankfully you were on board with it. So yeah, rest of this month, again, fully Gundam. It's Gundam summer, whatever. Fuck it, we're going with that now.
Gundam Mech Summer. We kind of had it with Eva, so this is technically Mech Summer 2.
Yeah, so this will probably be the only chat episode for this month, which I guess meaning it being a bumper episode. That's awesome.
Hey.
So yeah, next episode will be Double Zeta Part 1 immediately the week after, followed by Double Zeta Part 2 immediately then the week after, followed by Char's counter attack. All going to plan, hopefully. Yeah, so that's it. You won't hear us in normal sort of chill conversation for another month now. So we hope you
If you've made it
enjoy.
to the end of this episode, you might be thanking us
You
for
might be
that.
thanking us for that. It's been a slightly disorientated episode, if only because, yeah, just life.
We are also filming this late.
We are also filming this late. So yeah, we will see you guys next week, and yeah, enjoy the rest of Gundam Summer. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.